my message from earlier about the grief I had trying to get it to use the thumbnail. I'm not sure. Did we get a proper thumbnail with the text and everything, or did we just get the little circle with my picture? Was that, I think it was Tom who was just there. Let me just have a look. Live chat. Hello, Tom. Yeah, no, that was a struggle. That was a struggle. Thumbs up, folks, if you would. I just noticed there's a couple there. That's good. That's a good start. Okay, folks, today, episode 62 of TrampCast, covering the week ending Sunday, March the 30th, 2025. We're broadcasting Sunday, April the 13th, 2025. So we are still 3 weeks or so behind. I am going to get caught up this week, come what may, because to be honest, doing these Trampcasts talking about 3 weeks ago, it's too much hard work. Tim Timony, hello. Nobody's answered. What did the thumbnail look like before you clicked through for the stream? Was it just a grey rectangle with a round picture of my face? Or was it a nice proper looking Trampcast thumbnail? I need to know because YouTube are pissing me right off. Sometimes I make a thumbnail and I upload it. I'm not kidding you. I upload it 6 times. The app shows me the thumbnail I've just uploaded. I go to share the stream out on, let's say on Twitter. And then I go to Twitter to look at the post. And it's the crappy default image with just the little circle of my head. And nobody wants to look at a picture of my head. I am aware of this phenomena, folks. I am aware of this phenomena. Okay, as I said, episode 62 of... Oh, it's a proper picture. Thank you, Tim. Episode 62 of TrampCast, dealing with the events of the week ending March the 30th. This was the week where I finally declared the week of hell. Those 3 weeks and 3 days, whatever it was. Finally declare that hell over and that the bad weather was no more. Maybe premature. I don't know. This is TrampCast, where... Oh no, I'm getting ahead of myself. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Delta Mike, that's me. Some would say it's a character I play on the internet. It's not my real name. I've been open about that from the off, but some people do still get surprised. It's my initials in the phonetic alphabet, the NATO phonetic alphabet, all that Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta stuff. Down and out. I got a long list, haven't I? A homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some would say a bum. Someone who sleeps rough on the streets, or in my case, in a field. The program is TrampCast, where we discuss the successes, the failures, and the other happenings in my life as a homeless guy here in Torrevieja, on the southeast coast of Spain. Okay, folks, if you would, if you're of a mind to, subscribe if you haven't, or at least consider it. It helps you to stay in touch with the channel, to not miss a video, and it's obviously it helps give a signal for me to YouTube that people are interested. So if you haven't subscribed and you've seen more than 2 or 3 of my videos, please consider it. I'm not going to beg. Okay, please. Okay. Thumbs up, subscribe. Third on my list is donate, maybe, possibly. Only if you've got the money. Only if you want to help a guy out. But especially only if you've got it. And don't go silly. You know, little bits are appreciated. A $5 here, a $10 there. All is appreciated. What else is in my list? Okay, check if you're here now, if you're here right now as I'm doing this live, check for the word live in your bottom left hand corner, which is probably that corner for you, because the camera reverses things. You're looking for the word live and a red dot. If you're seeing numbers or anything else, then you're probably lagging behind. And as we move forward, you might make a comment in the chat and we won't know what you're talking about because you're an hour behind us. If you're not watching this as it's live on a Sunday afternoon or evening, then I recommend watching it with the live chat replay so that you can follow along and when I answer people's questions, you'll at least see their question. I'm trying to get better at actually repeating people's questions and comments, reading them out a little bit more, but I am new at this. I've only been doing it it's not even a year yet, is it, the TrampCast? I don't think is the channel a year old yet? I don't think it is. I think the channel started at May or... Well, the first video went up, I think maybe late April or maybe the May. Not sure. We did just pass an anniversary this last week that I kind of forgot about. I was aware of it last week that it was coming up, and it was like 5 or 6 in the evening of the day itself that I suddenly remembered that was the day. Let me get this right. 2.5 years in this field. April the 10th, which was that Friday? I think that was Friday. 2.5 years in this field, 2 months in the park beforehand. I was first homeless, I think it was August the 14th. 2 months in the park, almost, a few days shy. Got kicked out of the park on October the 10th, moved down here, got flooded out that night. Yeah, okay. Full story, it's all there in TrampCast 001. But the full backstory, for anyone who's new, who's wondering what the hell all this is about, it's the story, week by week, of the life of a homeless guy, a tramp, a hobo. We just did all the synonyms. If you're here live, you want to make sure that you are watching. On Android, it's called live chat rather than top chat. I think on desktop it might be called all messages rather than top chat or top messages. Just make sure that you're getting all the messages, because sometimes YouTube will just auto filter some out, and you might hear me responding to a comment that you can't even see, which is no good. Thomas, oh, Stephanie, hello Stephanie. Oh, Karen's here, hello Karen. Karen's here in more ways than one. In Torrevieja anyway. Wow, we're getting a pretty full attendance. What did I just miss? Oh yeah, Tim in as it looked like a proper TrampCast thumbnail. Okay folks, enough jibber jabber. So, the format of the show. First we do the number section. This is episode 62, so some facts about the number 62. Following that, we do the thank yous. After that, it's the themes of the week, which I haven't even written yet, and I don't remember writing any of this out because I wrote it out last week, so I'll have to make that up as I go. Fun, eh? Winging it. Themes for the week. Then we detail the week day by day. We step through the events of the week, and we discuss upcoming events. So yeah, we are 9 minutes in almost. So we will make a start. This is episode 62 of TrampCast. So some facts related to the number 62. The number 62 is a semi-prime. That is, unlike a prime number, which is divisible only by the number 1 and itself, there's one other pair of numbers that you can divide 62 by. And those are the number 2 and the number 31. Both of which themselves are primes. So these are the prime factors of 62. 1, 2, 31 and 62 itself. It is Adam and Mel, hello, Spain memories. Where was I? Okay, the number 62 is the sum of 3 squared numbers. Actually, it's the sum of 2 sets of 3. So you can get to 62 by summing 3 square numbers in two different ways. And it's the first number where this is the case. It is the lowest number that is the sum of three squares in two different ways. I'll quickly run through them because I am a bit of a math head. Not meth head, math head, or maths head. 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 7 squared. 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 7 squared is 49. You add up 4, 9 and 49, you get 62. Also, 1 squared plus 5 squared plus 6 squared. 1 squared is 1, if you remember your maths. 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36. 1 plus 25 plus 36 is 62. As I said already, it is the smallest number to be derivable in this way, in two separate ways, for the 3 square numbers. Okay, international direct dialing codes. We seem to always have one, or almost always. The number 62 will get you Indonesia. Now we're scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit here, because there aren't many facts out there about the number 62. So I went with the year 1962. And Cuba was quite prominent one way or another. For those of you that are of an age, I'm far too young, although I did know about these things. Fidel Castro was excommunicated by the Vatican for preaching communism. Not just espousing, but preaching. I think that was the key factor. Preaching communism. 1962 also saw the inaugural race in the Daytona 24-hour endurance race. Still going to this day. In Germany, 300 people die as storms over the North Sea, coinciding with high tides, bring flooding to Hamburg. 300 people died. On a more cheery note, 1962 saw the first publication of Spider-Man. There you go. And the main news of the year, really. October 22nd, JFK gave a speech where he told the world about the presence of Russian missiles in Cuba and his response, which was the blockade of Cuba. So we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, it was indeed the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, I'm too young myself, but I've always been aware of the phenomena. And finally, folks, is it? Hold on. It is indeed. Hold on. Finally, from the period... I lost my notes are split in 2 bits because I made a bit of a mess. Tina girl. Oh, we haven't done... Hold on. Does anyone remember when the first click worked? Tina girl, talk to the peoples. Tina? Are you singing to the peoples instead? Hello, you. Come and say hello. Tina, come and say hello. No, we got people walking past. Tina girl, that's enough now. Tina, sufficiente. Basta. That's enough. That's enough. Stop. Dogs. I've got an ant. Oh, no, is it an ant? It is an ant. It was an ant. Okay. I am become death, destroyer of ants. Not just mice. Ants as well now, apparently. Where was I, folks? Where was I? The periodic table we were about to get to. 62 on the periodic table. It's another one I've literally never heard of, despite studying the periodic table quite intensely as a kid. I don't know what happened, folks. My memory's gone, or they've renamed everything over the years. 62 is Sumerium with the symbol SM, Sierra Mike, even. It's a moderately hard silvery metal, oxidizes slowly in air. Now it's named after a mineral called samarskite, which in turn was named after a mining official. What this means is, although it's indirect, this is the first element on the periodic table to be named after a person. Although there's that hopping stone, that stepping stone with the mineral in the middle. But the mineral was named after the bloke, and now so is the element. The main sites in which it's found: China, US, Brazil, India, and Sri Lanka. But China is by far the leading producer of samarium. Its uses: it's using magnets. It is a permanent magnet, or can be made into permanent magnets. And whilst not quite as powerful as neodymium that we looked at recently, it is capable of maintaining its magnetism at far higher temperature ranges. I don't know if you know, but permanent magnets will lose their magnetic properties if you heat them too high. Basically, you make things magnetic by aligning all of the electrons, the atoms. And if you introduce heat, things jiggle about too much, and they break free, and they move. They lose that structure. You lose the magnetic properties with heat. But this one, samarium, keeps its magnetic properties to a much higher temperature than neodymium, which has certain uses. Other uses of samarium include cancer treatments and nuclear control rods. Now you know. Those were the facts about the number 62, because this is TrampCast episode 62. Now, someone had a question there. Sorry, I was in the middle of something, so I continued on. How many mice have I trapped? Tom asked. The total is 10, but there were 9 in the first week. We only got 1 this week, which is good news, because it means there haven't been many mice running around in here. There were 2 occasions through the week where I thought I might have heard mice. One of them I'm almost certain was running over plastic. And it didn't. All the traps are in one area because they have to be out of the way. Dog, you know. I can't just have them dotted around all over the place, because I'm baiting them with things like ketchup or what's the other one? Burger relish. That one's worked particularly well. What I'm not sure of is whether it's worked well because they like the burger relish, or because of the position that particular trap's in. It's in a narrow part of the tent, narrow floor space, along a wall, and quite near the hole where they used to come up, which is currently blocked, but they might have found another way around, or they might just like that area. So I don't know if I can't rule out whether it's the positioning of that particular trap, or whether it's that particular bait that's got them. But this week we got 1 more. There was almost certainly one other one running around, and a possibility of another. It's difficult to tell though. Sometimes the wind gets hold of the side of the tent and ripples down the side and makes a noise like something running over plastic. So I can't be sure. But we've got a lot of, the last 3 months, folks, I've been plagued by them. Getting up, hearing them and thinking, oh, they'll go away. Then coming out, chasing them around. They go away for a minute or two, get back into bed, and before I've even pulled the quilt back up, they're scurrying around again, or were. I've had a very, very peaceful week. The one time it went off, I wasn't even aware that there was a mouse there in the tent. First thing I knew about it was the snap of the trap. I was going to do a video about the traps, but I haven't got to it yet. Tina's in the way there. I'll see. There's one just over here. I'm just going to see if I can reach it. I don't think I can. It is quite the... I'm probably going to take over. No, I'm not going to do that. It's too much. I'll do a separate either a video or a community post type thing about them. They're excellent. And considering that they come from Temu, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, thank you, Adam and Mel. Tremendous. Well, I was about to ban Stephanie C there by accident. Sorry. Did the new tent turn up, Chief? Asks Tim Timoney. The tent is now in Spain with my friend Karen. I expect to be putting it up at the back end of this week. We've got a few days of awkward weather ahead of us, and I think I want a couple of days to do this. What I'm thinking is I might take one day to empty the tent out, put tarps over things outside, secure the tarp, and then I've got a day to take down the tent, put the new one up. There's some messing I want to do, strengthening bits and making sure that, like, when the tent eventually goes through again, if I'm here long enough, I don't want a tear to be able to run and destroy like miles and miles. I don't want it, which is what's happened the last couple of times. So I'm going to strengthen it. I'm going to put like a lattice of duct tape across the ceiling and maybe down a couple of the walls, so that if we do get a tear, it can't run too far. Because what's happened the last couple of times, the tent before this got one long tear the entire length of the tent. Well, that was no good. This one was in 4 sections, and 3 of them went through in the same weekend. They tore from end to end of the individual section. The wind got under them, ripped them, and the fabric all blew away, all the same day. All of that, like the initial tear, then it running, then the wind getting under and tearing them sideways, and then the fabric all blowing away. One day. I don't want that again. If I can just, in each section, between the ribs, between the posts, if I can just put a couple of pieces of duct tape lengthways and 1 or 2 across widthways, and then any tear that does happen, well, A, the tear will be less likely to happen, and B, it won't be able to run as far. Tina, go. Hey, babe. Steady, steady. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay, babe. Hey, come here for a cuddle. Come for a cuddle. I forgot to put treats in my pocket again. I'm a bad doggy daddy. I should have had treats in my pocket so that I could calm her. Okay, folks, let me just... So, yeah, Karen's here, and we're going to put up... I'm thinking the back end of this week because we've got a couple of days of bad weather. Oh, look at my... Sorry, I'm all over the place. I am now a level 10 mouse hunter. I am indeed. I am become death, destroyer of mice. To bastardize an Oppenheimer quote, which in turn he took from the I think someone posted it before, didn't they? The Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. It is from that, but by way of Oppenheimer, after the Manhattan Project and what the Americans did with it. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, folks, am I caught up? Have I missed anybody? Tom says we'll stop the pigs pestering you. What'll stop them? Nothing. Well, I haven't been bothered by the police in quite some time now. I'm going to call it 9 months. It might even be... No, is it almost a year? Oh, we'll have to look that one up. It was a couple of months after we put the... Maybe not even a couple of months after we put this tent up. So we put this up March the 5th. April... So somewhere April or May was the last time that they came. Oh, we're going to put tarps over the top again, Tom. I'm going to put tarps over from the beginning. I do have a couple of black ground sheet type ones, but they will on the whole be... What I might do is put the new tarps over and then put the old tarps back over the top to limit the extent it looks different. Now, obviously, if they see me like taking one tent down and putting another one up, especially if they see the field full of all of my belongings, I will be taking 2 or 3 times as much space while I'm doing it. But afterwards, once it's up and I've put the things back in, if I can make it look just like this one looks now, with the same blue tarps over the outer layer, they might not notice the difference if they're not paying attention. We shall have to see. We shall have to see. Okay, folks. So we've done the numbers. So now for the thank yous, and Okay, now for the thank you. So episode 62 of TrampCast, and here are the thank yous for the week ending Sunday, March the 30th, 2025. Although we're broadcasting April the 13th, we are covering the week that's 3 weeks ago. And again, I think I mentioned a couple of these people in the last track. Just that they were after they donated after one TrampCast. So they were at the end of one week, and also it's kind of the beginning of the next as well. So I'm going to mention them now, in particular because the donations were so stunning. So we've got Mel and Adam, who are here now. They've renamed the channel recently. Is it Spanish Memories or Spain Memories? There they are, Spain Memories. That's Adam and Mel. They gave me a tremendous donation, which previously someone gave a similar label, and I used the term ton up. You might have to be British to get the reference, but they're in the ton up club. They gave a fantastic donation. Also, Scruff Dog gave another fantastic donation, way beyond. I don't have a category other than that ain't cheap, but thank you to both of those. Well, thank you to all three of them, I guess, Mel and Adam, and to Scruff Dog. Between those two donations, folks, they were half the cost, half the price of the new 10 covered, just from those two donations. Absolutely stunning. Also that week, Jeff E via PayPal. Thank you, Jeff. Ivan M. If I remember, good music, I think. Ivan's in Ireland. And that ain't cheap. Good donation. Thank you, Ivan. Terrence G. Again, that ain't cheap. You have to look back if you don't get the reference and why I said that ain't cheap. I'll explain now. Donations over €20, £20, $20, whatever your currency is, 20 of them, and I said that ain't cheap. It's in reference to a guy I used to watch who said something similar when he got donations on his channel. So I borrowed it because why not? So Terrence G, that ain't cheap. Sean M, that ain't cheap, and then some. So thank you to you ladies and gents who donated in this particular week. All the money from there went not in the time frame we're talking about, but went towards the new tent, which is going to be making an appearance any day now. I will of course do a video of the day's proceedings. Probably after I've emptied it out, we'll have a look around the tent emptied. I'll do some from the outside. I'll go all around the outside and record the tent as it is at the start of the day. I'll empty it out and we'll have a look at it emptied and what a shithole it is. Again, I'll take the bedrooms down and all that, and we'll have a proper look at the state of the floor and how everything is. Then we'll take it down. Or maybe we'll take all the tarps off and I'll take a picture of the tent minus all of the additional kind of third-party protection that's been added. We'll have a look at how little of the tent is actually left. And it is only a year and a month or so, isn't it? A year, a month and a couple of weeks maybe by the time we get there. And then obviously we'll clear the space. I've got some work to do prepping the ground and doing something about these mice. I've been advised not to use poison on the mouse holes that are underneath. Apparently, if mice eat the poison and like die in the field, anything that eats the mice takes in the poison and then dies. Cats, dogs, whatever. And I can't countenance that. I have a dog myself, and there are cats that come in the field, and that I want to be here in the field. I want the cats here to help me with the rodent problem as it arises. It appears it only arises in winter. Two winters on the trot now, they haven't made an appearance at any point in the year until we get into that kind of October-November period. So I got to be mindful of that. But we'll do some ground prep, and then the new tent's got to go up. It's going up empty to begin with, and as I said, I'm going to do work with duct tape to strengthen and what have you, tarps over the top, and finally I'll put the bedrooms and what have you in the fittings that belong in, and then I've got to bring everything in. So I'll do a video of the proceedings, but that's for another video another time, folks. That's for another video another time. Let us let me just check I haven't fallen behind with it. Oh, David's here. David Schofield. Hello. Yeah, David's going to come and visit me one day, maybe. We shall see. Oh, Karen's reminding me, of course, Spain this week, it's religious. Is it Semana Santa or Santa Semana? Can never remember the right way around for those two words. Basically, Holy Week. Yeah, we have to avoid days, so not Friday or Sunday. Yeah, I guess it's all religious, really, but yeah, we don't want to cause offence or a gatepost. Okay, what? I do wish they wouldn't have the chat on that side. Okay, Thomas is suggesting the mice forage less in the cold season. I would have thought that they hibernated. Are they not? They're rodents, yeah? Don't rodents hibernate? Whoa, what the hell? I got a fly as big as a man's fist buzzing around. Just flew in through the wall. Bugger off back out. I would have thought they got slow and lethargic in winter, but maybe they were looking for a warm, because it's sheltered. Even in the ground underneath, which I think is where they were, the amount of soil that they brought up when they dug in, I think there's a nest down there, not just a little tunnel. Yeah, maybe just having a rainproof, waterproof cover over them. Maybe they're just looking for shelter. I don't know. You can't really call this. I went through into the other bedroom last night looking for something after the rains, and fucking ankle deep in water in one corner. Tina girl, let's relax. Depends on the rodent. Yeah. At least you're not correcting me and telling me that they're not rodents this time. That was rabbits where I called it a rodent and got corrected. Oh, here's one, folks. My mate Anthony turned up, half an hour before, maybe 3/4 of an hour before TrampCast. He'd only been in the country an hour and a half, and he brought me beer. Cheers to Anthony, the official beer sponsor for this particular episode. They come indoors in winter, says Karen. See, everyone knows more about mice than me. You'd think I should have done some research, eh? Yeah. But we're getting fewer and fewer of them coming in. And of course, after we put the new tent up, I'll be able to put traps in more obscure little places. Maybe to the side of the bed, inside the tent, but to the side of the bedroom. Places where Tina's not going to go rummaging anyway and should be safe. Beavers hibernate. Field mice can live under snow in -30. Jesus. Oh, let me know if I start slouching, folks. If I end up off the screen. Squirrels don't hibernate. Okay. All these different facts. I thought that rodents in general hibernated, but I don't know. What do I know? Okay, folks. So at some point we did the Thankyous there, didn't we? I'm sure there'll be others. There must have been people who came into the field, and I haven't included because I've only done the PayPal donations. Themes for the week, folks. Themes for the week in question. As I said, I haven't really prepared them. Obviously, the end of the bad weather. This episode is titled or entitled. I don't know. Is it just titled or is it entitled? What's the correct past participle of naming something or titling something? Anyway, this episode is named for the fact that I declared the 3 weeks of hell to be over. The storms were coming to an end, and we had 4 or 5 days, nominally, according to the weather forecast, 4 or 5 days of good weather ahead. So That's a theme for the week, isn't it? The end. In last week's episode, I detailed how I'd brought the mattresses out and tried to dry them off with limited success, and even afterwards we had rain the day after, I think, and we had water getting into the tent again, just like we have this week. Yeah. So yeah, themes for the week, the end of the bad weather and the beginning of some nice weather. And me not having to worry about power management. Sunshine, folks, sunshine. Also, when the winds drop, the ability to boil water and cook outside properly. I've been avoiding it because strong winds, you're turning the gas up higher and higher so that the flame doesn't get blown out, but you're aware that the gas is just getting blown away before it combusts. You can smell it in the air around you. So I was restricting how much I was cooking or boiling water, coffees and things. I still had some, but I was mainly having to time it by the weather, by the wind. Hey babe, it's just a car. It's just a car. Yeah. Doggy. So yeah, and of course the other theme is purchasing the new tent, getting the money together, and you know, as I said, the donations that we received and all the money for the last few weeks at this point we're talking about would have been going and been set aside. I had a little bit set aside, and then I got those huge donations that almost at the point we're talking about, I don't think I was quite there, but I was almost there. So that was on my mind, and the researching what type to go for. The suggestions from some of you guys that I go for canvas tents versus me looking at canvas tents and not being able to find something that met my other requirements. It had to be fully enclosed. Walls come down and join the floor as one envelope, not walls come down and stop and then a separate ground sheet, because I would have had anything coming under at any point. That's with the mice, and there are rats, or have been rats in the field before. They're there. They're going to be there. They haven't come inside this tent because it's a solid envelope. It's what was one self-contained unit till the mice burrowed in from under. So these factors, these researching the new tent, getting the money together, trying to decide what to have, whether to go for a smaller tent, and if so, how much smaller. I think the one we've gone for is slightly smaller, slightly shorter and slightly narrower, but not by huge amounts. There's the other thing. I've got a lot of resources in here that some of them are in use and others are just in case. And it would be a wrench to be throwing things away. But you know how it goes. You throw stuff away that you've kept just in case, and the week after you throw it away is when you need it. There is stuff here I have been filtering through and setting aside some things for throwing away. There are others that I've just identified today that are going. I've got this skinny little shelf unit just back here. I don't know if I can. I had to connect to the EcoFlow, folks. I was down below 15 percentage points on the phone and I didn't realise it. Well, over here, look. No. Does anyone remember a few weeks ago when the click to reverse the cameras was working? You see the shelving unit that's fallen over? It's got a very narrow base, won't stay upright. And over here I've got a cardboard box that I got. Get this. I brought that cardboard box inside, I think on like day 3 or 4 of having the tent, because there's oh, you can't see it. There was an air vent above the door. Let me. Okay. You see this blue behind me? That's the door, and at the top there's a mesh kind of element. It was an air vent when there was a roof and to hold it up. That was the air vent, and there was nothing to secure over it. You couldn't put anything over it to close the air vent. So in winter, it'd get quite cool at night. So I wanted to cut out a piece of cardboard and duct tape it on the inside as a flap that I could secure and you know, release and fasten to block and unblock the air vent. It's been over a year and I never got around to it. Did I ever mention procrastination? Another ant, look. What are you after, you little fucker? So yeah, tent selection and sorting things out, yeah. Everything in here is currently, it's all ended up being moved out of various rooms. It's all in here at the minute, or a lot of it. I tried, Karen, I tried, but you know. Some things are set aside outside ready to go. Others have been brought in here. Some are ready to go. Some I'm undecided on. I got like, oh God, look at this. Let me embarrass myself by showing you another area. Do you see this little wooden cabinet with the little chest of drawers? 3 drawers over there. There we go. I've had that quite a while. And I opened, it was just, the top drawer had a bunch of rope and cordage, little bits, not very good stuff, but little bits. Bottom one had batteries and things from the solar, when I had the 2 little solar panels, which I do still have, but when I was using the solar panels. So you got I opened those drawers a couple of weeks ago. They're absolutely full of mouse droppings. So somehow they're climbing up the back and getting in to the drawers from behind. The drawers mustn't reach far enough back, and the mice are scampering up and in. Nothing in there for them, nothing food-wise or anything. It's, like I said, batteries or cable or cordage. But it's quite disgusting when I opened it. But I don't know that I've got that much use for a set of drawers that can be accessed by rodents. I need drawers that are rodent-proof. Unless I can find enough stuff that it doesn't matter, but even then, you really don't want them running around, scampering around. Other themes for the week, I don't know, folks, I've no idea. It's that long ago now. I'll have to, if I come across something, if I have thoughts while we're going through the week, day by day, if I have any thoughts about, oh yeah, that's a theme of the week, oh yeah, that. Obviously mice at this point would have still been a thing, driving me absolutely balmy they were. But I've already discussed that. It's not a great topic. I'm not, you know, I'm happy that we've got a solution now, and I'm a lot less squeamish about it this year than I was last. Last year it gave me great mental anguish to kill. Well, to kill. It's not something you do lightly. Even vermin. I mean, mice can be quite cute. Tom and Jerry, you know what I mean? We've all got that image of the cute little mouse, and especially when you see them with their big ears and stuff. But when they're getting in your food and running through your clothes and climbing, when you sit on your chair and you have to pick the cushion up and take it outside to shake off the mouse droppings or mice droppings, you don't want that. Nobody wants that. Jerry's a scoundrel. Yeah, but when you're a kid, you're on his side. Look at Thomas with his, yeah, he's got his Tom. He is Tom. That's right. There's a guy I follow online who pretends to be J. Jonah Jameson, the editor of the Bugle, the Daily Bugle, isn't it? Spider-Man. Whenever anything goes wrong in the world, he just says, "Oh, what's that damn Spider-Man been up to now? What's that web slinger been up to?" Yeah, okay. So those were the themes of the week, folks, as best I can remember them. Saving the money for the new tent, trying to select the new tent in discussion with my friend Karen there, and with advice from you guys. Even if I did reject some of that advice in the end, we did look into it. We did look for canvas tents that met my other requirements, and it just didn't work out. They were the wrong. They were that bell tent shape with a big center pole, no internal bedrooms, and most of them just came down to the ground and ended with a separate ground sheet. Just didn't meet some of my other requirements, and they were really tall as well. Not just 2 meters high in the middle because of the pole. They'd be like 3 meters high in the middle, and also the big central pole. If you know anything about Tina, Death and Destruction, if there was a big centre pole in the middle of a fucking tent. I mean, I'll give you an example today. Getting in and out of the tent, out of the bedroom, there's a little puddle on the floor. Very sludgy puddle of water. And I mop it up, and another water comes in from the sides or from wherever. I don't know where it comes from, but it arrives and there's still a little puddle, a little sludgy puddle. We go out, she falls over and runs, you know, her backside ends up in the puddle of water, and we go out. Coming back in, she'll fall down just outside the tent in the sludge, and I'll pick her up and we'll walk in. She'll come in and either walk with her feet through this sludgy puddle on the ground, or she'll fall over with her backside in the sludgy puddle, and then she's going to get, you know, jump up on the bed on my nice, I'm not going to say nice clean quilts, but they're quilts and they don't have covers on at the minute. But there's a sludgy dog with muddy paws and muddy backside. If there was a centre pole in here, Tina would have knocked it over within the first week. How long was the honeymoon period? If anyone's been here long enough, we had the brand new tent. It had each door, you could open the doors, and then there was a nice inner door, a mesh, a mosquito net. And someone came visiting one day, and Tina just tries to get out and swipes at the door and puts a rip in the door. How long was the honeymoon period where we had this tent and didn't have any damage? I'd be surprised if we got to 2 weeks. I really would. Can we calm down now, darling? Let's have some quiet. It's a good girl. It's quiet. Yeah. Come here for a cuddle. Come and have a cuddle. Come. Oh, it's a nice cuddle. Yeah. Tickle her under the chin. But yeah, and any new tent has to be, and that's the other thing. The bottom, the kind of the built-in ground sheet, and then the little kind of the skirt where it turns up the wall. Tina's going to be dragging her feet over it as we go in and out. It has to be fairly hard wearing. Yeah. So I had this list of factors that maybe not everybody knew about, or not everyone took into consideration. Oh yeah, I haven't told you why we're inside today. The last couple we've done outside, haven't we? But it was raining. And then just as we started, I think it stopped again. But now it's just started raining again. We've got sunshine. Unfortunately, we won't be getting any benefit from the sunshine. Because the EcoFlow's up here. Because my phone was so low, I had to bring the EcoFlow up here. Just behind where, this is where you're broadcasting from, folks. You're back on the laundry bin, chopping board, dog food, and phone stand. And here's my book where I read from, and here's my beverages, because my mate Anthony is the beer sponsor for today's episode. It's possible, Dadachowski. Yeah, it's just doing a search. We had kind of time pressures, whatever. I don't know. We didn't find. Mice have 2 little body mass to hibernate. Okay, but they will go where it's warm and sheltered and look for food. Yeah, the ground sheet, the built-in ground sheet, so it doesn't just come down and end, was the biggie with. I know you sent me a couple of links as well, Chris. I don't know if you got my reply email. You haven't come back to me. I'll I haven't checked my Gmail actually in a while. But yeah. We shall communicate, my friend. They may well be out there, but no, these weren't they weren't labelled as teepees. They were labelled as bell tents. But yeah, they had the big central pole in the middle. Anyway, folks, where are we? Coming up on 50 minutes in. Shall we begin? I've got no idea what I'm going to talk about here, folks, because I wrote this out last week. Oh, have I told you that my book got wet? This book is wet. And I spent the morning... Oh, look at that. Look, that's why it's ripping so easily. I spent the morning trying to dry the pages out. And fortunately, the ink hasn't run too much. But some of the early pages have been wet before. I don't know if you can see. Starting to go a bit mouldy. Some of the earlier TrampCast notes. Now, my preference is to keep these TrampCast notes because one day I might write a book. And if YouTube ever pulled the plug on my channel and those videos disappear, I haven't been able to keep my own copy of the videos. Even though I've got a 2 terabyte external hard drive, it's got that file corruption thing still. Nobody has been able, in over a year now, nobody's been able to bring me a laptop that I could borrow for 5 or 10 minutes. Just to plug the hard drive in, click a button and say correct that file allocation table. Many people have promised, some people have actually promised, in the past I've had promises of actual laptops and tablets and all sorts, but those people generally disappear. Usually just after asking for my location and usually just before a police visit. I was very suspicious of that behaviour for a while. People who were in contact often asking for details about where I was. And when I gave them actual locations, like drop a dot on the map, oh, we're here. Me and my family have brought you pen drives and tablets and gimbals, you know, the stabilizers. You put your phone on and it steadies it while you're walking along. All sorts of promises of everything from half a dozen people. And very few people actually came through with those. One person, I mean, there was a guy early on who did, and I'm just struggling now. Irish guy, name was very much like an English word. Oh, isn't that bad? My memory. But he came through, he gave me a tablet. This watch, the watch that I wear, was from him. And I'm ashamed to say, I do know it. If you're watching, my friend, if you're watching, I do know it. It's a temporary blockage. What is his name? Hey, he brought me all sorts of, including the 2 terabyte hard drive. But loads of other people have made loads of announcements about fetching this, that and the other. And, oh, we're here, we're in town, we're going to try and come down and see you. Can you drop a pin on a map? And I do, and they disappear and never communicate ever again, totally ghost me. But the number of them that coincide with a police visit, either later that day or the next day, very suspicious. Anyway, I'm not sure how I got here. How did we get tangents from tangents? Whoa, I was talking about the wet book and then the hard drive, and yeah, there's no guarantee that YouTube could pull the plug on your channel at any point and not let you have your videos and stuff. So I want to keep my book of notes because I could do a book of, you know, how I got here and what happened, and here I detail like the events. But I don't go so much into the feelings. I don't talk about what I think about people. Or, Tina, can we stop? In a book, you can talk about how you felt a bit more than you know. So if one day I ever do my autobiography, Diary of a Nobody rings a bell, doesn't it? I did read that. That's another one of those, if I've got the right name, that's another one of those humorous novels. A lot like 3 Men in a Boat and other books by Jerome K. Jerome. But Diary of a Nobody, if I'm remembering the right name, oh look, the wet, can you see where the staples are? All the pages are ripping because it's all damp. Anyway, folks, let me, oh yeah, look, it is fucking up terribly. Maybe I'll have to take my camera and photograph each page so I've got an alternate record of each one. That's an idea. You still eating your food? I thought we'd finished all that noise. Doggy. Okay, folks. This is TrampCast episode 62. discussing the week ending Sunday, March the 30th, 2025, although we're broadcasting on Sunday, April the 13th, 2025. We're about to begin the events of the week in question, and we begin, as we often do, with the Sunday evening after the TrampCast. So after the TrampCast, so this would be the TrampCast that was broadcast on March the 23rd. So we're beginning the week that ends the 30th. So after the TrampCast, I sat in the chair relaxing, and we'd had some plinks through the while I was doing the TrampCast. We'd had some PayPal donations. Link in the description below. I don't know. I got to get the grift on, folks. I mean, in fairness to myself. Can I say this? I'll say it anyway. I might be crossing a line. That better not be. Oh! It is. It's a donation from PayPal. Well, then I'm not going to say anything more. But now you're going to wonder what I was going to tell you. So I'll tell you what I was going to tell you, but I'm not telling you it now, okay? Just don't. A couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago, whenever it was, I sent all my money to Karen to go and pay for the new tent, and I left myself a little bit short. I left myself with less than 2.5 years. It's an odd number, it's not a round number, but I left myself with less than €2.5 in PayPal. Like so, that's a couple of weeks ago now. So I was a little bit short, but a friend, one of you guys, has just sent a. I'm not gonna read that out now, because I will do the thank yous in the TrampCast that's appropriate to this week in which I'm doing. This all gets confusing. This is why I want to get caught up, folks. I'm going to make a determined effort this week. It's always slightly weather dependent and other factors, but I'm going to try and do all of the back issues. I'm going to get caught up, because I'm sitting here now reading these, and I'm struggling to recall the events in question, because they're 3 weeks or so ago. It's a little bit awkward, and it means I don't give you the best performance. That sounds wrong. But, yeah. But thank you. As I said, folks, there is a link in the description if anybody is of a mind to and has spare. Don't. If you haven't got it, don't go leaving yourself short. I just did that myself. Not great. Spending 2 weeks with €2.5 to your name. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Oh, I was just talking about how I check PayPal, because I can't check it during the stream when something like that happens. If I leave this screen, the show ends, the live stream ends. So afterwards I checked and yeah, oh my God, is my notes here. Oh my God. Those two donations that between them got me €200 towards the new tent. Now I've just showed you earlier the podium here, as I call it, the laundry bin, the chopping board, the dog food, and the things. Basically, after TrampCast ends, it takes me 20 minutes to tidy everything away, move these things back where they belong, and bring all the things out of the bedroom and put them on this chair, because this chair gets piled high with... Oh, is this just... Oh, it's blinking away. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I feel a little bit I feel the grift now. I feel embarrassed. Thank you. Am I behind with chat? What the hell's happening here? I've got other paper, folks. I do have other paper around here. You need a plastic tote, says Stephanie. I've got about 6. They're full of food mainly. Food, bedding. Titled is the past participle of to name something, to title something. I've always used entitled, but I know that you entitle like a noble when you give someone like a peerage. That you, and also entitlement means something else, but yeah. Okay, I'm catching up. I'm catching up, folks. I'm sorry. I'm poor book. You need a plastic tote. Yeah. Trying to dry more than 10 pages of pain. I was doing it earlier. I had the pages fanned out, and I had something dry in between, and I had it sat outside on the clothes area. Just sat there with something in, just letting the air in. But yeah, it's the book's gonna fall apart. I do have other books in here. Adam and Mel brought me some notepads a while back. I just don't want this to like decompose, to rot or to tear and fall. I don't want pages to start falling out. Once you've got pages that are loose, you're going to lose them. It doesn't matter how much you try. You're just going to lose the damn things over time. But I want to keep everything together because, just like I said, in case I ever write my autobiography. A friend, Tina, one of the ladies that bought me, not this phone because this is from Karen, but my original phone that I started the channel with. Remembering, folks, that I had nothing. I had a bedroll in a field. That was it. All my own electronics had been ruined in 2 floods. And 2 ladies, Anita and Tina, bought me a phone. And Tina, even before buying the phone, she'd been saying, you've got to write a book one day, keep some notes, write a book. And I did start keeping notes. And they're around here somewhere. I find them every now and again. And then I lose them for another 3 or 4 months. And then I find them again. They still exist somewhere. So those notes go back before the channel itself, because the channel started in the April or May, I'm not sure. And I'd been homeless since the August before. The August I'd been homeless since. So yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. I didn't get very far, did I? I got as far as saying that I was dismantling the this podium, moving stuff, putting this back where it belongs, and bringing other stuff back here where it piles up. And I checked the PayPal, link in the description. Fuck. Sorry, I make myself laugh sometimes. And I missed my mouth. Okay, yeah, clear the podium and the bed, move everything, switch everything around. But after moving everything around, I had a bad back again. My back, if you remember, I had to step around Tina one time, and I just twisted awkward to step around and try and feed her. And I just jarred my back. Second time in my life I've had a bad back. But I've had this one now, it's got to be over 2 months. And it's still not as bad. It's not like as painful. But it's just a dull ache after I've lifted and moved and shifted. And given that I've got to empty all this crap out of here one day this week, I'm not looking forward to that. I've got paracetamol. Somewhere I've got a strip of ibuprofen as well, which I think ibuprofen are better for swelling, which I think is what goes on in my back. The paracetamol don't always help. I had to take 2 one night, and I don't like taking painkillers at all. I sidetracked myself, folks. I've gone off on a tangent again. Anyway, I needed to lay down, so I went for a lie down that night. And I watched the TrampCast back that night, even though the chat hadn't been processed. Live chat replay wasn't available. But I just watched it back anyway. And as ever, I enjoyed it. I quite enjoy me. I know. Narcissist. But I do like watching them back. I watched the first 6 one after the other one a few weeks ago. Yeah, anyway, onwards, ever onwards. So yeah, watch the TrampCast back. Oh, and yeah, again, looking at tents with Karen, looking for tents. And yeah, this was the night we made the decision that canvas, we couldn't find canvas that matched our needs. And the other thing with canvas, for the price point that we were going for, they're not big, but they are heavy, and they're going to be flown out. Karen's going to be bringing it back on a on a plane, probably, unless we could find one, local. So the decision was kind of more or less made, that night. What does that say? Oh, Karen found a contender though. Karen found one, and it was on offer. I think it was £100 off. So that, as I said, similar sizes, a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower, more or less the same kind of format, same shape, bedroom at either end, and a kind of a living room area in the middle, but with the built-in ground sheet. So we thought we'd found a contender. So that was a good step forward. Oh, okay. So this is the one. I'm standing here having a pee. I got my. I've talked about this a couple of times. Basically, guys, I've got a big tin can. That's not it. I got a big tin can which acts as a stabilizer. I cut the top off a 2-litre pop bottle and stand it in this big tin can. And then when I need it, I can just pick the pot up, can't I, and do what I need to do. Put it down, I don't have to go out overnight. Maybe empty it in the morning or something. But I'm stood there doing what I need to do. A fucking mouse runs over my foot. Literally over my foot. Barefoot. Wasn't happy about that. Yeah, no. And I came out chasing around trying to find the little bugger. Saw it over here and made a dive for it, but missed. I kind of punched the floor, but what are the odds you're going to hit a mouse? I wasn't far off, but I missed because they're so fast. They are so fast. Now this was where it started to rain towards midnight. It started to rain, but only for half an hour. Now this is where my phone was up for renewal. I think I've talked about this in one of the TrampCast hangouts. We may have another hangout tonight, folks. Stay tuned. I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of in the mood. But my phone was up for renewal. And I'd moved €15 across from my PayPal to Labara. You create an account. You have an account within Labara. You have some money sat there in the pot. And it's going to cost €15, my phone renewal, €15 a month for, it's 100 gigabytes. And anything you've got unused from the month before rolls over. Within limits. We've talked about that before. Not everything unused, but a certain amount. Anyway, I've moved €15 across earlier that day. It gets to midnight when it should renew, and I don't get the messages. Normally I would get a text message and an email saying renewals happened. Thank you very much, blah, blah. Nothing. past, I get a text message. You don't have enough money in your account, in your Labara account. You don't have enough money in your Labara account for the renewal. I'm like, what? I moved the exact amount over today. I moved €15 across to that account. Somehow you end up with some pennies as well, or centimos, accruing over time. I don't fully understand why, but there's usually 3 or 4 cents extra as well. So I'd had 15 euros and 4 cents or 5 cents, whatever. So when my 15 euro renewal's due, how have I not got enough money? So I start to look into it. And by now, they should have cut me off. If you haven't paid normally by midnight, you lose your connection. And I would have to go to a shop the next day and pay via the shop. But I start looking into it, and I open the Lebara app, and I've got 14 euros and 53 cents or whatever, 50 whatever cents in the account. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? And I try texting them. I try contacting them through their app. There's no one in the office at the minute. If you're taking people's money at midnight, like on the stroke of midnight every day of the week, why are your staff not there at midnight for the obvious questions and issues and errors? There's nobody in the office. Contact us tomorrow after 10. 10? The fuck? So all I can do in the meantime, I transfer another 5 euros across, minimum amount. They do it in blocks of 5. So I transfer 5 euros across. So now there's 19.50 whatever, and they take the 15 that they want, that they need. And okay, I'm up and running. But where's my... It's only 50 cents that's gone, but it's an inconvenience and a hassle. But I'm left that night, I'm puzzled and I'm angry. If you're taking people's money on the stroke of midnight, why not have staff available? Or why not take the money at 4 or 5 in the afternoon and when your staff are available? Anyway, that was the beginning of the Lebara fiasco. It goes on for a few days, folks, as do I. Let's have a look here. Let me go back. That's Ivan. Thank you. Okay, I've gone back that far. Now I'll work forwards. Stephanie C says Russian. I don't know why. Russian. Did I say something wrong? Or did somebody else? Have I misspoke and said something wrong? I don't know. And then George Grossman. Things have taken a turn and I'm lost. Dadachowski Chris, he says, where's a Russian? Oh, Diary of a Nobody. Oh, I'm not sure. I might have the wrong name for the book that I was talking about. I thought Diary of a Nobody. It's not about a Russian though, is it? Even if it was written by a Russian, I don't remember. I'm thinking of a book that's kind of humorous. It's a guy who writes a lot in the style, really, of Jerome K. Jerome. It's humorous. It's basically a layabout who does nothing and achieves nothing in life. I think the character committed suicide. I'm not sure. The character, not the author. Dadachowski says, photograph the pages so you can store them electronically. Yeah. The only issue, so things like Google Drive and whatever Microsoft one was called, and then I had that one. What was the first of those services where you installed an app on your computer and it would mirror certain drives, certain folders to the cloud? OneDrive? No, not OneDrive. Something Drive. Was it called OneDrive? That sounds like a Microsoft thing. I don't mean that one. Oh, God, I'm going back about 15 years, maybe 18 years. Fuck, I can't remember. The only thing with those is if you lose your phone or your phone stops working and you don't have an account for 6 months, you never get back in. You want to get back in and they try and authorize you by sending a text to your phone. And you don't have that phone anymore. What the heck? You get caught in a bloody catch-22 trying to reactivate or get back into your accounts. If you've ever experienced this, it can be a real trauma. If you haven't set up like a backup email address and a second device, Yeah, it's all right if like when I was married and the wife had the recovery accounts and stuff, but when you're on your own in a field and you've got one phone and that's it. I was reading the other day about someone who got stuck with two-factor authentication, the exact same thing. They'd got a Google app or some other app handling all their login details, and for whatever reason, the phone gets lost or broken, doesn't work, whatever. Can't get into that one app. So now you can't get into any app. I would want a local, even if I was backing them up to the cloud, I would want a local copy as well. Ideally, anyway. Ideally. Yeah, saving to the cloud. Dropbox, yeah, fucking yeah, thank you. Dropbox was the first of the big services do that. Okay, Stephanie's confirming it was George Grossman. The name's not familiar. It's entirely possible I've got entirely the wrong book name. It'll be something similar, but yeah, Dada Chosky's been in that same catch-22. You lose your phone or your SIM card or something, and you go to Microsoft or to Gmail or to whoever, you try and log in, and they're like, we don't quite recognize this device. We're just going to send a text to your phone. And you're like, the reason I'm on this other fucking device is because I don't have that phone, you... Yeah. Oh, modern life. Yeah. It's almost as bad as having a 2 terabyte hard drive that you can't get into because of one silly little file allocation table error that Windows will patch like that and fix and give me access back. Yeah, you can, for videos, you can upload them to YouTube and mark them as private or whatever it's called and use it as a private storage to a degree. But you still have that problem. One day YouTube might not like something you did. Too many videos with, not that you've put audio on, but like you're walking past a pub or something and the audio's in the pub, and they'll flag you and give you a strike, and 3 strikes and you're out. Yeah, it's modern technology you can get caught in these loops, these catch-22s. Yeah. So hold on. Stephanie said something. Where was it? Have I gone back too far or not far enough? No, hold on. Have you deleted something, Stephanie? Or have I picked the wrong? I thought somebody said that, was it OneNote or something was obsolete. I know Skype's going, isn't it? That was a shock. Skype's going the way of the dodo any minute now. I thought I saw a message. I thought I saw a message, and now it's not there. Could be me. No. Maybe I was dreaming. Oh no. Okay. No, it's Adam. Okay. OneDrive's been made obsolete in the last year or two. Obsolete as in you can still access your files, or it's gone entirely. It's Adam. Sorry, Stephanie. Stephanie was just talking about books. It's me. I was looking for you, and then that message popped up. I just saw the corner of a message. Sorry. Cheers to you guys for being here. Cheers to the subscribers. And if that feels you're leaving left out, you know where the button is. Okay. Actually, I want another drink. Mouth's dry. We haven't got very far. Tina! We haven't got very far, folks. We're almost an hour and 20 in, and I haven't started the week proper. I'm still on the end of the Sunday night, basically from the week before. Okay, so the Labara fiasco gets me angry, but I managed to get to sleep in the end. 7:45 a.m. and Tina wants her walk. So I wake up to find a dog slobbering, licking me, and that's a sign that we need to get out. We need to get out quick. Tina, you're kicking the podium while I'm talking to the peoples. Be a good girl. Don't knock the podium. So yeah, it's the usual. Walk Tina, get coffee, put the solar panel out. Normality's starting to return. We're actually getting power. Although I had to turn the panel, so the panel would normally be facing like that way. I had to turn it 45 degrees or so to the side because the sun's getting further and further around. It was almost at 90 degrees to the panel initially, but low and kind of almost behind the trees. Tina, you're still doing it. So I spent the morning watching okay. I mentioned this earlier. I didn't know it was now. I spent that morning watching the first half a dozen videos on the channel. Later on, I watched the first few TrampCasts. But this was me, because we'd come through the week of hell, all that bad weather in successive days, it reminded me of when the channel started. And it started because we were about to have 7 days of bad weather, 7 days or more, according to the weather forecast back then. So I went through those first videos and they're not great. Some of them, Tina, oi! Some of them they weren't well structured. They'd start with me kind of in bed and rain dripping in, and I'd linger on stuff for like 5 or 10 minutes that I could have gone through in 30 seconds and moved on. But I went through them anyway and had a watch. I watched them, and they're quite interesting. If you haven't, folks, after this TrampCast, or at any time, click the name of the channel, Delta Mike Down and Out in Torrevieja. Click that. Not the word more next to it, but just click the actual wording. It'll take you through to my page on YouTube, to my channel. And there's a banner at the top, and then under there's a set of links, one of which is videos. Click videos and you'll have the list starting with the most recent videos, not the live streams, but the actual pre-recorded videos that I then upload. But initially you're seeing them most recent first, and it would take you forever to scroll down but there's a button to the side you can select, and you can reverse them so that you start with the oldest, and you're basically looking at the first half a dozen videos I ever made. Have a watch. They're quite feel free to fast forward through some of the bits that are a bit long and lingering. Basically, anytime you see me inside with a blue tarpaulin over the top and just pointing at water coming in the corners and bitching about how my bed's getting wet, you can fast forward through those bits and get onto the proper meat of some of the videos. But I did that. I watched back all the videos from the first week or two, starting on this Monday morning. Yeah, I've labelled it here. I could go back and label that as the original week of hell. I thought about doing that, but I didn't do it yet. Never named as such, but that's... Now, just after lunch, this is where Pepe, the Spanish guy from the field, came over. Normally I don't see much of him until recently, but starting 3 weeks ago, Pepe came over needing power for his phone. He needed his phone charged, so I plugged it into my EcoFlow and gave him some power. But it was so slow charging, so slow. And he said something about going for a beer, and I thought he was going to go like to a bar and come back in an hour or two, for his topped up phone. And I was a little bit aggrieved that, oh yeah, I'll just drop my phone off. I'm going for a beer, fuck you, I'm off, kind of thing, which is what I thought he was doing. I'd misunderstood the bloke. He was going to the shop to buy some beer. Then he's going to come back. So he came back. He came back and brought a couple of cold beers. And then he went back to his tent and came back with a Tupperware full of stew. Now he has no cooking or eating facilities at all. As far as I know, he has no knife and fork. He doesn't have a knife to cook bread, like a bread knife or a sharp knife. He doesn't have any gas stove or not pans, pots, pans, plates. None of it. So he came here, and I thought he was just warming the food up for himself, so I was getting a little bit. But no, he offered me some. I wasn't that bothered about having some, but he insisted, and there was quite a lot there. It was a chicken stew. It's quite nice, actually. So fair play to him. He brought me a can of cold beer and some stew. But my gas was running on vapours. My gas bottle was literally empty. If you picked it up and shook it, 14 kilogram, there's supposed to be 14 kilograms of gas in, and then you've got the weight of the bottle. You shake it, there's nothing. You couldn't hear anything at all. But he's coming around and it doesn't take long just to heat up a bit of food. It was already cooked, so it was only heating it up. I wasn't that bothered, but I was just aware that I was at the end of my gas bottle, and I didn't want him making a habit of it. Was kind of where I'm going, I guess. Yeah. But 5 hours later he left. 5 fucking hours. And at the end, his phone still wasn't that, his phone was only kind of 60 or 70% charged. It wasn't that. Never known a phone charge so slowly. Never. I don't want him turning up and just taking 5 hours out of me day every day. So I was a little wary. Appreciated having a can of beer. But I think he gave me one, and I ended up giving him 2 or 3 of what I had because he was here that long. So it cost me, Yeah. Where are we? Oh, as he left, so I come inside. It's dark I come inside. Remember, this week's just after we'd hold on. Yeah, we're in the middle of the mice epidemic. So he leaves, I come inside, and again, mouse runs right past my foot just as I step inside the bloody tent. Hold on. Thomas says his new phone is awful. It takes twice as long to charge and uses it in mere hours. Yeah. Some phones, sometimes it takes a long time because they've got a big battery, and sometimes it just takes long because they charge at such a low wattage. They just don't draw enough amps, charge too slowly. Sometimes it can be a setting. In the settings called something like battery protection or battery health protection. Yeah, no, it's funny. Sometimes though, it's just that they've got a big battery, and so more and more power is just less of a percentage. But oh, you see, Motorola, you're with like a flagship company kind of thing, aren't you? If you go with a Samsung or a Motorola or Apple or whatever, you're paying top dollar and you're getting the best. You're getting the best setup, the best equipment. Yeah, but no, he's just took forever, and he says when he uses it at night, he uses roughly 50% of the battery power just watching a film or two before he falls asleep. So it's not like it's a big battery and it charges and he can use it for days and days. I think when I was watching on the EcoFlow, it was only drawing 2 or 3 watts. Like my phone, this one that Karen's given me, this one draws at its fastest, it draws 14 watts, which by modern standards, I think it still isn't that. I think some of them go a lot higher than that. Especially on USB-C, you can go to 50 or 60 watts, even 100 watts. The ports will support. Depends on the device you're connecting, what it signals it wants. But no, I almost blocked somebody again. Look. Yeah. Anyway, let me crack on, folks, because we're an hour and a half in, and we're only in the middle of Monday, aren't we? Oh no, we're at the end of Monday. When I returned into the tent, and the mouse ran out of the bedroom, and its tail brushed my foot again. Not good. I had shoes on at this point, though, unlike the night before. Okay, into Tuesday, and I woke up late again, late in the morning, probably awake late into the night, and so 9 o'clock. And remember, folks, hold on, March the 30th. Isn't that the day that's the day that the clocks went forward? Oh, but that's the end of the week. Yeah, these days through the week, these are before. So when it's sunny at like 9 o'clock and stuff, yeah, that stopped happening. That stopped happening. That we had to wait until later for it to be fully sunny. This week, the week in question, we're still on the old time until Sunday itself. I confused myself there. So anyway, into Tuesday morning, got up late, 9 o'clock I wake up, and it's sunny outside. The EcoFlow got fully charged, no time at all, just plug it in, give it half an hour, bang, done. Went outside, got my coffee, all the usual stuff, sat out in the sun, walked the dog, all of that. Made a cup of soups, and cup of soup plus a cup of lentils, and did the usual thing. So when I'm doing a soup and I'm adding either lentils or pasta or rice, get the water hot first, put the soup in the pan, the packet soup, the powder, add whatever it is I'm adding, lentils, pasta, sometimes both, rice, maybe instant, not as well. You know, it's either lentils and rice or pasta and lentils, or sometimes just the pasta or just the lentils, whatever. But anyway, put it in, boil the water, make my coffees. Extra water goes in the pan with the soup and whatever. Put it on the heat for 5 minutes. Turn the gas off. Preserve the gas. Leave it to sit for 10 minutes. So they're sat in the hot water, cooking away. And then for the final 5 minutes, turn the gas back on again. That way you get 20 minutes of cooking, but it only costs you 10 minutes gas. That's the idea anyway. And your soup goes further, and you're using elements that are almost for free. Pasta costs nothing. Rice is for free almost. What is it? €1, €1.50 for a kilogram. And that's about 500 servings. The kilogram goes forever. I've no idea how many servings it is for real, but maybe 17. It's a Chef Jean-Pierre joke. He would have appreciated that. If any of you watch Chef Jean-Pierre, you get 17. He puts anything, when he says it'll freeze it. It'll keep for years, maybe 17 years. Kudos to Chef Jean-Pierre. Okay, let's go back. Where did I get to? Sitting out, morning coffee, cup of soup and lentils, yeah. Okay, straight away, as soon as the EcoFlow's fully charged, I've put batteries on to charge. Now I did have 3 cables, and before that I had some cables that were splitters. These came with the batteries, so you take one USB port, and charge 2 batteries at once. Those stopped working, and Karen family provided me with 3 cables. No, I think they gave me 2. And I found one somewhere else that were USB A to C cables, and one of them stopped working within about a week. So now I can only charge 2 at a time, 2 of these batteries. I've got 6 to charge, and I charge them most days. Technically, these are from like my head torch and my fairy lights, my Christmas lights. They're a yellow white. They're a nice white, a warm white, I guess we call them. I charge them almost every day. They will do 2 days, but I prefer, if ever we get a day with no sun or something, I'd prefer to have them already charged rather than be on their last day. Because you can get little runs of 2 or 3 days with little to no sun. So having things already charged when you can is best. So I've got these 6 batteries charging, but in shifts. And again, look at this, look. Mouse chased from the bedroom, almost ran across my foot. Getting sick of them, I wrote. This is where I didn't mention it, on the Monday I was chasing Labara, texting them and emailing them and doing whatever, to try and find an answer to why I didn't have enough money in my account when it came time to for the renewal. How can I move 15 euros across? 15 euros is due, and there's not 15 euros sat in the account. What the fuck are you doing? What is that? And this is where the guy tells me, oh, it's the prize draw you entered. And I'm like, did what? Fucking prize draw? Never entered a paid prize draw in my bastard life. What are you talking about? Yeah, you entered a prize draw. And your free period's over, and it's now going to be 50 cents a week. I'm like, 2 fucking euros a month. What are you? No. So I argued with him, and we had some back and forth, and some swear words were exchanged. And he said, oh, I'll cancel it. I'm okay, good. And the next thing I know, I get an email telling me my Labara contract's been cancelled, like in its entirety. Do what now? What? It's my lifeline to the world. No, your Labara's cancelled, the email says. I go back to him. We're still, the speech bubble, it's still there. We're still in the chat. And I think it's WhatsApp they direct you to, but the app does it, but it triggers WhatsApp. And I'm like, what now? Cancelled my entire contract over this. I said, all I wanted was my money back and an assurance it's not going to happen. Oh yeah, I'm just recreating your contract. I had to cancel that contract and create another because of the prize draw that you opted into. I said, shut up with that. Don't tell me I entered a fucking prize draw that I did not enter. He says, yeah, in future you'll have to be careful not to click that again. Fuck you, pal. I did not at no point. I said, tell me what date and time and through what method this happened. Link in an email? Link in the Labara app? Who, what, when, where? What time, when? And I'll disprove it. I clicked nothing, nowhere, never. No answer. But I get the money credited back to my account. I get a new contract with them. It's the same number. Everything just picks up. I checked that the 50 or 60 gigabytes that rolled over from the previous month was still there. Everything was still there. So I don't shout at him too much. But yeah, the accusation that I did it and that I'll have to be careful not to do it again. Fuck you. I did not click that, never. And when challenged to tell me where, when, why and how, no answer. Big companies, folks, they think they can get away with this shit. Oh, you didn't know it, but you've been in a prize draw for the last 3 months. But we gave you that for free, and now we're going to charge you €2 a month. Fuck off, you're not. No. But I got it sorted. But I got angry. I get angry now just talking about it. I do that. If you watch any of my videos about the police, you'll see the same thing. Just talking about people taking the piss makes me angry. Yeah, got told be more careful where you click. Fuck right off, it never happened. And 50 cents a week. Yeah, scammers posing as multinational companies. Ah, it's just you guys talking amongst yourselves. That's okay. Good stuff. Talk amongst yourselves. Where are we? Oh, terrible night. Tuesday night. Terrible night chasing the mice again. Like multiple mice at once. Hearing them, chasing them, seeing one scurry along an edge and hearing something else over the other side. Go looking for it and start banging, like, excuse me, banging my veg baskets. Fish burps. I had sardine sandwiches earlier. Sunday lunch, folks. Sunday lunch. But chasing mice, they were really, really getting to me. Into Wednesday. Late start, very tired. And Pepe's here again, first thing in the fucking morning. What now? This is the Spanish guy, the guy in the other tent, the other side of the field, or at the back of the field. He's here again. So I've charged his phone the day before, and here he is now again. He's broken his phone now. So after I've charged it, sometime that night, he's dropped it and broken it. I have a pet dog, Stephanie. She won't let a cat anywhere near. We had one run through at Christmas and I chased it away by accident, thinking it was a rat. But yeah, cats would be good. Don't tell Tina, but maybe after. Maybe after Tina's not here anymore. Hey babe, maybe Daddy gets a cat. She's looking at me. No, I want a Tina forever. Tina forever. That's a nice cuddle again, darling. Thank you. That's lovely. Thanks. Thanks for the cuddles. I like the cuddles. Daddy needs his cuddles. Yeah, never mind. Yeah. Where am I? So Pepe's broken his phone and okay. I've got a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard where so you need an OTG cable, which I have, and you plug the receiver, the radio receiver from the mouse and keyboard into the cable, and you plug the cable into your phone, and you can control your phone with the cable. So he's only got a broken screen. It still turns on, but of course the screen doesn't accept any input anywhere. So I thought maybe we can use the wireless mouse and keyboard. I'm not sure why I couldn't get them to work at all. I thought I was trying maybe rechargeable batteries don't always give out enough power at once, enough of a charge. So I broke out, I've got a set of proper AA's and AAA's. So I broke out proper real batteries rather than rechargeables and tried those and still no go. I even tried it plugging it into my tablet because that's micro USB, whereas the phone's USB-C. I tried that to see whether we could get that to work, and nothing. I think maybe the water from all the rain and everything has got into the keyboard and mouse. These were, I mean, I picked them up by a bin over a year ago, but I checked them and they were working at the time. And now the first time I come to try and use them, they don't work. Isn't it always the way? But I think it might be my fault. They might have been either banged about a bit too much where they are, just inside the bedroom door, or it could be water getting to them. Tiddly likes cats unless they enter the garden. Okay, Stephanie's dog likes cats. Yeah, I guess they're 50-50, aren't they? They either love them or they don't. I don't know. Mine has no truck with them. She just will not. I mean, she won't put up with dogs, never mind cats. She's very 50-50. And she'll pull towards other dogs. And she'll whimper like, and you're like, oh, she wants to be friends. And she gets to them and starts eating them. Or she'll be best friends and, you know, and I have no way of telling. I can't distinguish. Biscuit's a great name. for a dog. I love that. If you offer it a dog biscuit, it's a biscuit. Where am I? Pepe's broken his phone. Tried the wireless, yeah. Oh, this is where I recorded the video. The one that says it's over. This is where I actually decided to declare. All the other videos had been, is it over yet? And are we nearly there yet? And that kind of thing. But I actually, this was this Wednesday in the week ending March the 30th. So somewhere around the 26th, would that be? 25th, 26th? I actually declared the week of hell over. Even though it had been, we were probably on day 21 of the week of hell by now, but, you know, I'm not renaming the playlist now, am I? No, day 21 of the week of hell. Only once in all my time in Spain, in 9 years now, only once have we had a worse run of weather. And it was the year I was made homeless. So 2020. Fuck. I can't do the maths. Was that 2022? The March or April there, I think the April, every day it rained all day, every day. But I was inside a building with my friend Ismo. So it didn't, it didn't matter as much. Yeah. But I did a video and I declared the bad weather over. The weather forecast was showing like 4 or 5 days of good weather, no rain. Even the days later in the week that were going to be rain weren't going to be that big a deal. So it was over. That was it. Celebrate. End of the bad weather. So Pepe went off shopping, and while he was gone, it clouded over and looked like it was going to start raining. This is where Pepe returned, and he brought a pack of chicken, like drumsticks. And assumed he was going to cook them at mine. What did I just say about running on vapors with my gas? So he cooked all this chicken because I'm a softie and I let him, even though internally I was bemused at the cheek of it. I let him. But I told him that my gas was running on empty. I'm on vapors and we can't carry on just turning up out the blue and turning my gas ring up high for half an hour or an hour. It's not gonna work. And this is where I asked him why he hasn't got any, hasn't he got any cooking facilities at his? And he said no. He's been there a year. He works. He gets money most days. Why hasn't he bought a gas bottle and a cooking ring or a little gas stove, a camping gas stove? Because he goes out and usually just buys pre-cooked food, either takeaway or ready cooked stuff from the supermarket, just for sandwiches or whatever. As far as I can tell, he hasn't even got a knife to. He likes baguettes, but he hasn't got a knife to cut one. He came here the other day. I'm going off on one now. He came here the other day just to sit at my nice new table. Thank you, Tom. Big pine fuck off kitchen table, circular thing. He came here to eat his. He cut his baguette using my knife, and then he just put his whatever he was having in the baguette and sat and ate that. But he's dragging me out of my tent to sit with him in the cot. It was fucking freezing. That's literally, I think, the first time all winter, and I know we're in spring now, but not winter. But I've been in shorts all this time. I was sat there with 3 layers on. I had a t-shirt, I had this jumper, and then I had a big hoodie over the top. It's the first time I've been cold, I think. I'd have to look back through videos. I might have been at some point. I've been the wrong side of comfortable. I've been, you know, like uncomfortable a couple of times. But I was actually cold this day, and I'm having to sit out with him while he eats his food because I'm not just going to come inside while he sits there. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent, folks. Tangents from tangents. Just presumptuous. Didn't ask me before he went. He didn't say, look, I'm going to get some chicken. Can I cook it at yours? He just went, got a box full of his chicken and cooked it and sat and ate it. After he left, I cooked myself a plate of chips using his chicken fat left in the frying pan. Anyway, that was Wednesday, folks. That was the day that was. Into Thursday. So again, just for anyone who's joined recently, I see the numbers fluctuating a little bit. Thumbs up if you could, folks. If you've seen more than 2 or 3 of my videos, you might like to consider subscribing. Make it easy on yourself to come back and make sure you don't miss any videos. And it helps the channel. Sends a signal to Google stroke YouTube that I'm of some interest to somebody. I've got no idea why. I'm just a tramp living in a broken tent in a field. And this last week saw me celebrate, if that's the right word, commemorate at least, 2.5 years in this exact field. I don't think that's a good thing. But it is what it is. Anyway, folks, thumbs up if you could. If you haven't, I'll see you all running away now. And the number's dropped. Okay, that was Wednesday into Thursday. And the video that I just talked about, the one where I declared the end of the week of hell, is doing quite well. Running away with it, going like a bomb, I've written here. And then we get to a certain time at night. Stops there. You look at the graph, and it's on a peak, and then it doesn't die down. It doesn't come down the other side of the. Not like a normal distribution, the bell curve. It gets high, and it drops a little bit just over the peak, and then just stops dead. Like YouTube have just flicked the switch. We'll have none of that, they say. Fuck that, you're gone. Okay. So I did a couple of posts describing my frustration, shall we say. One on YouTube and one on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Exeter, shitter, I don't know. Call it what you want, folks. I've got lots of names for it. But a video will be running away with it. It'll be really popular. I've had videos that are hitting like a 20% click-through rate. They show that video in the listings 5 times and someone's going to come and watch it. And they're going to watch it, you know, a big chunk of the way through. And 20% of people who watch it are clicking thumbs up. And it just stops dead. And you're thinking to yourself, what kind of video platform finds the video that's doing really well and just stops offering it up to people? The reason it stops getting clicks is because they stop showing it in the listings. I think Adam just said something similar. Yeah, videos that are doing well and that just cut off. I post on Twitter just because it's there and there are people there. It's kind of where the people are. It's the only one I use other than you. Whoa. How long was I gone? I was just answering. I was just answering Stephanie there, where she says she's not on Twitter anymore. I post on Twitter because there are people there. It's the only thing I use other than YouTube itself. I've got a Messenger account, so I've got a Facebook account in theory. Don't use it except for Messenger. Never log into Facebook, very rarely. Someone might send me a link and I don't know what it's a link to until I click it, kind of thing. Very, very rarely. And I haven't posted on Facebook in forever. I honestly can't remember. It could be 2 years or more. I'm not sure. No, it couldn't. It has to be when I started the channel. Is it 2 years since I started the channel? Is it? Have I got my have I got mixed up with my dates? It probably is. 2 years ago since I started the channel. Could that be right? Bloody hell. I don't know. I honestly, 1 year or two. End of April or beginning of, I think end of April. I just don't remember what year. It's 2 years this channel, isn't it? Somebody will tell me. If Jack Attack was here, he's probably here and lurking, but he'd tell me. RLRG, that's Rich if I remember correctly. I don't often remember correctly, but I think it is Rich. Hello, hello. But yeah, I need somewhere to promote. It's just to announce, hey, a video, hey, they say that. And occasionally to rant at Elon because my average post gets seen by about 5 people. So I don't know why I even bother drafting. Taking the time to draft the post doesn't seem worthwhile for a message to only even be seen by 5 people. Adams reach about 500 and then drop off dead. Okay, I don't get that. My average video, 100, 150? The TrampCasts get seen by about 200 typically over the first week. And 100 of them will be people dipping in and out during the... Most people arrive and only watch about 10 or 15 minutes before I bore them and they move on. I guess if you're seeing it just listed on YouTube and you don't know who the Tramp is, what the Tramp is, what's going on, your interest is piqued, you come in, you watch your 10 or 15 minutes, and then you decide it's just a guy prattling on about his week. Yeah. The successes, the failures, the other happenings in the life of a tramp. A hobo, a homeless guy. Okay, let me. So yeah, so I do a few posts anyway. I post on YouTube about, hey, yesterday's video was doing well, and then YouTube flicked the switch and turned the fucker off, and then I post the same on Twitter, and sometimes I'll at YouTube. I'll bring them into the conversation. Not always, but sometimes. Well, I did it this day, and within an hour, the video shot off again, just as much as it had been at before. Literally like someone's turned the switch off and then turn it back on again after I've bitched. I don't know. Maybe they're just looking at how many links from outside sources or from community posts. I don't know. But I bitched about how the switch had been turned off, and almost instantly it was switched back on again. So you've got this thing where it reaches a peak the night before, goes dead, and then there's like a 12-hour gap of nothing, and then I bitch about it, and woof, we're back again right where we left off, and it goes higher. So there's what you got to do, Adam. You got to post on Twitter and do a community post on YouTube with a link to the video that you're trying to promote. Maybe, I don't know. It worked this time, or maybe it just coincided with some algorithm vagaries. I don't know. But yeah, it came back. It came back. People were watching. Now at this point, Karen arrives. Karen and family arrive, and bring me some. Oh, look at this! I'm ripping the book apart, and it's tearing and pages are falling out. Where are we, folks? Where are we? Karen arrives, and they're bringing me some water and some food. And very kindly, some booze. Can you believe it? What a lucky tramp I am. Thank you, Karen and family. And Christine, if you're out there. Hi, Christine. Probably not, but you know. That whole America and Canada thing is bizarre, Stephanie. Yeah. And the way that they're almost, well, not almost threatening, they seem to actually be threatening to take countries over. It's not just Canada, Is it Denmark or Greenland? Which one of them is it they're after? And they're kind of threatening. Yeah, no, it's weird. Wargamed and planned in advance. The struggles to communicate on anti-social media. Could well be. Where the experiment. There is a lot of psychology goes on in how these things are programmed, and I guess they're trying to maximize views. So arguments, confrontation, is what drives. Yeah, Greenland. Yeah, Greenland, the autonomous region of Denmark. I was thinking of Iceland. I wasn't sure whether it was Greenland or Iceland. I said Denmark because it was in the back of my head somewhere. Sorry, misspoke. Got it wrong again. There we go. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, the psychology that goes on behind these social media sites, games as well. A few years ago, they were calling it gamification, taking. Is it dopamine? What's the drug that the brain releases when you're happy or when you're excited, when you're hooked on something? It is dopamine, isn't it? Gamification was taking that idea and applying it like to social media and to other places, scoring points and watching the number of likes and things increase hits those same triggers in the brain. I think Tina's trying to get into the bedroom. That was her knocking everything around. I think I need to help her. Just give me a second, folks. I'm gonna go and help my girl. Oh, she's lying on the floor in the sludge puddle. Hold on, Tina. Wait. Daddy's coming. It's like having a child, isn't it? Oh, God. No. Stay where you are. Go. I can't go the other way. Whoa! Fuck! Well, that was ungainly. Come on, you go on the bed. On the bed, darling. Yeah, that's where you were wanting to go. Come on, turn around. We're okay. Go. Go on. Hop up. Tina. Go on. Hop up on the bed. That's a good girl. There you go, sweetheart. There you go. That's nice. You stay there. But do not eat that chorizo. Do not eat that chorizo. Oh. Hold on. I'm dancing around things. Go get my blanket back. Here we go. I got my little blanket. Sorry, folks. I had to help my girl. Oh, it's my job. Bloody hell, look at the lean on that. What's going on there? Hold on. What the fuck? Here we go. If that leaned over anymore, the bear would have been lost. Disaster averted. Gonna help my girl get back on the bed. Or get up on the bed. Live chat. 23rd of May that was the oncoming storm one with the chicken stew. 23rd of May 2023, so it's 2 years. Fuck. I lost a whole year in my head there, folks. I was talking earlier about how it's a year ago that the channel started. It's 2. Almost 2. We're on a lean here. There wasn't a lean before, and now there is. And I don't know. I've no idea what changed. What have we got? Let me get this big sharp knife and put the handle. If I can't level the base, maybe I can level the chopping board. Okay, folks, how many did we lose while I was away looking after the doggy? Adam caused uproar in a group of DIY enthusiasts. There's a story there, I'm sure. We'll have to hear that one day. Wasn't there a kerfuffle this week with the head of the military base upset the vice president, or upset him, or said something bad about him? I'm not sure what, and she's been sacked. Finland, yeah, Finland joined NATO, didn't they? And so now they has that happened? I think it was finalised. They wanted to get in before they got invaded, because it was too late for us to intervene in Ukraine because they weren't NATO members. But we all have the if you invade one, you invade all kind of philosophy. So we all have to go to war if a NATO member gets invaded. Suddenly it's boots on the ground, folks. Boots on the ground. Okay, can anyone tell me where we were in the week in question? Okay, okay, Karen had arrived with booze and food and water. Did we get anywhere past that? I think I've missed something, folks. Tina, I've missed something. On the day before, on the Wednesday, when Pepe came around, when his phone stopped working and I tried to help him with it, he had nothing. He had no timepiece. He had nothing. His phone is basically all of his entertainment, and it's his timepiece. So when that stopped working, I lent him my watch. Well, again, he asked, and I'm soft. I don't know how to say no to people. So if you ask, you get. He asked if he could borrow the watch, and so I lent it to him. I almost just remembered the name of the Irish guy who gave me the watch. And it's just not quite there. It was so close to being on the tip of my tongue. It was Owen. Owen. It's like Owen, but without the E, or no stress on the E. Owen. Owen. I'm sorry, mate. If you're out there, it's not you, it's me. Yeah. Owen gave me a Kindle Fire tablet. Old, you know, second hand, his own, but an old one. The watch, he brought me a beer that day. I think it was a litre bottle of cold beer that day. The 2 terabyte hard drive. There were some various cables and I think a pair of scissors as well. There's just, there'll be other things that I'm not remembering. But it was tremendous of him. And that's way, way back. That's way, way back. So thank you, Owen. And I'm ever so sorry for the brain fart, not being able to remember your name at the right instant. But I got the watch, and Matey Boy's phone packs in on the Wednesday, the day before. I'm just backstepping slightly because I missed something. And his phone's not working. So he literally asks, can I borrow your watch? And I've got other ways of telling the time. I've got the phone, I've got a tablet. So yeah, I've got radios, whatever. So I'll let him borrow the watch, and I also lent him a radio because he had nothing, no entertainment. He's got nothing. He's been living there a year, and his entire life, single point of failure is the phone. And he'd broken the screen of his phone. So I lent him the watch, and I lent him the radio. It is in the notes here. I just neglected it. I must have looked past it while reading through. So back to Thursday now, where we were. Karen's been and brought the shopping, and she brought me some shopping. And this was the one, before she arrived, she says, we're on our way. Do you need anything from Mercadona? And I tell her a few things I can think of on the spur of the moment, because I don't maintain a list of what I need, because that seems presumptuous. So they go and they bring a bag or two. I can't quite remember this particular trip. They go and get a few things, and they bring a case of beer or two. And thank you, Karen. And then I'm talking to them and I'm ranting a little bit about Matey Boy because he'd been over the week before for some dog food, and I'd given him three or 4 days worth of dog food the week earlier, and then realised that I'd not actually got that much myself. Well, it's not for me; it's for her ladyship there. But I've given half her dog food away to the bloke from the other side of the field. And I'm telling them this, and as I'm telling them it dawns on me that they've just asked me, what do you need from the shop? So just after they've arrived, I'm suddenly telling them a tale that basically is me saying, oh, I need dog food. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, half the family take off back to the shop to go and get me some dog food. Thank you, folks. Thank you. And I apologise for being... what's the word? It's not really disorganized, but yeah, for not... Well, now you make me feel like I should keep a list of what I need for when people ask. But that... I struggle with that. If someone asks, what do you need? It's open-ended. How far do you go? Do they want to spend a £5 or a £10? What if I tell them I could really do with a laptop? I could really do with a laptop, folks. What do you do? How do you answer the question, what do you need? And when you answer it, how do you appear not to be too presumptuous by just rattling off a big long list that you've pre-prepared in case anybody asks? Because if you make the list and nobody asks, and then the list gets out of date, doesn't it? It starts, your list says carrots, potatoes and onions, and you've already got them. And then someone asks and you bring out your pre-prepared list and it's things you've already got. So then all there's extra work in maintaining the list, knocking things off and adding them back. How do you handle that? I don't know. That's why I'm no good at it, because I don't fucking know. I don't want to be on the grift. I don't want to be on the beg. But here I am in a tent that's falling apart in a field with mice and rats. With a dog that can't walk anywhere. I don't get out of this field, folks. I don't get out of this field. Well, I do. I get to the little dirt track here and I get 20 or 30 meters that way. The other day, Tina actually managed to walk to the nearest cliff top off to the right. She just, after she did what she needed to do, she just wanted to carry on walking for once. Now she wanted to carry on walking, but I'm carrying the back end and it's getting heavy. It's getting hard work. Holding up the back end of a dog because her legs don't support her anymore, and that when they do support her, they're not coordinated enough for her to walk. So I'm not, it used to be she carried her own weight and I'd have this belt such that if she swayed to one side or the other, I stopped her falling over. I was providing the support, but more and more I'm providing the lift. Now she's a 30-kilogram dog and I'm carrying the back end and stabilizing the wobble, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy. Anyway, back. Karen's here. She's brought the leg, and half the family go off and do the second shopping trip because I didn't remember dog food, and they come back. The fuck off big 16-kilogram, like a full sack, dog food. And also, while I was talking to them, I'd mentioned about Pepe coming and using and my gas being on vapors. Now I've got a trolley here. In fact, I think you might have seen it earlier. I've got a... Sorry folks, you get the close-up on my face while I'm trying to manoeuvre. I can't. I got to unplug it. Here, I got a trolley. I could take my gas bottle when I've got the money and replace it. Oh, hand over the camera. But what do I do with my dog while I'm doing it? I've got a busy main road to cross at the top and I can't be carrying her and it's further than she can go anyway, usually. And dragging a gas bottle and trying to do the things. So Karen's husband offers, I'll take it, I'll go do it. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't got the money. I'm he just goes. He's not just taken the initiative in doing it. He pays. Gets me a new, pays for the exchange of the gas bottle, 22 or 23 euros. Thank you, Karen and family. Thank you. You know it's appreciated. But I just have to say it here and embarrass you. Thank you, thank you. Takes away some rubbish as well while he's doing it. Takes away a bag of rubbish, so I don't have to walk off and leave Tina alone with her yapping. If I'm not here, once a second, every second, she will bark. And that would potentially upset some of my neighbours. So I don't want to do it too often. So them taking the rubbish away saves me a job and saves people around me the grief of me being here. It's a little thing sometimes, folks. It's a little things. Just taking away the bag of rubbish. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, after they leave, Pepe arrives back. This is why I had to tell you about it, even though I'd missed it out. I had to go back and tell you. So just one day later, one day after he's broken his screen, he comes back, and he's had his phone fixed. So he's got himself some work, done a day's work, got the money, gone and had his phone fixed, new screen. And so he comes back and gives me the watch back. Straight. So that was good. I got my watch. I was only without it for a day. So I was glad of that. You know, sometimes you lend people things and just never get them back. Yeah. No, but that was good. He came back with it. But he brought 3 tins of baked beans. And he sat and heated one of them up with my new gas. he heated his baked beans and he had those. But he brought 3 tins and he left the other 2. He left with me for him for another day. So he didn't give me 2 tins of baked beans. He gave me the safekeeping of his baked beans for him to come and have another day. Do you see what I mean about presumptuous, folks? You're getting it now. And also what a soft touch I am. I could have said no, fuck off. Probably should have said no, fuck off. But didn't. Because I'm not confrontational like that. Generally. Until I snap. Yeah. Left the 2 extra tins here. Again, no cooking facilities at his, so yeah. So again, this again, the fact he's got no cooking facilities at his, he gets money, he works, gets his pay, and goes out and either gets takeaway or ready-made meals, or just stuff he slapped together, a sandwich or something. Oh, this was the worst night yet. So this is Thursday night of this week. This was the worst night yet for the mice inside the tent. Absolutely fucking plagued by the little sods. All night long. I even wrote in my notes here at the time. The notes on the phone would be contemporaneous. Those I write them as stuff happens when I remember, or when things get me angry enough. And then I transpose them to paper. And I'll miss some things out. I'll look back at the end of the week and think something's not important enough to be included. But my actual words here, were, this is becoming fucking intolerable. They're getting brazen. Rather than them moving around and you not even knowing they're there, they were starting to crawl over plastic bags and run around and rummage. Get into plastic bags and move around in them. And chew their way out of them. They climb their way in, fall down, rummage around, decide there's nothing in the bag they want, and chew their way out. So all my carry bags, almost plastic shopping bags, have got a little jaggedy corner missing. I hate them. I still admire the little buggers to an extent. But they were just getting... It was building and building. More and more of them, more and more of the time. You come out, you shout, you shine lights around, silence. Or you turn all the lights off and you go quiet and just stand still for a while. And you wait and you hear a movement in this corner. Light on, go, dive in, try and stomp on the little bugger. Never get them. Twice in my life I have. I got one here when this hole at this side by my bedroom, when that was first found. I saw one just walking around and I stomped it. And I got one last winter, saw one similarly, about to walk into the bedroom in daylight, and I just stomped the little... I didn't think I'd get it. Both times I thought I was making like a gesture. I was, I'll scare you. I'll miss you, but I'll scare you. Maybe you won't come back again. And I actually got them. But out of all the hundreds and hundreds of times I've tried to, they're so fast. They are so fast. Kicked a rat once as well last year. Actually got close enough, managed to kick it. Didn't do any real harm, I don't think. Maybe frightened it a little bit. But yeah, okay. This was one of those nights though where in bed, coming out, chase them around, hang around for 5 minutes, waiting and see nothing. Go to get back in bed, and before you even get into bed, there's noise again. Up and out, up and down, up and down. Like a bloody yo-yo chasing them. This is why I really, really appreciate these mouse traps. And I particularly appreciate how effective they are. I've said this before about the ones here from the local shop just here. The first time they get triggered accidentally and there's nothing in them, a piece of fabric or something triggers it, or the mouse triggers it and gets away. And the first time that the ones from the local shop here snap shut and they're not clasping a mouse, they close so hard that the staples, the spring forces the staples that hold in the whole mechanism into the wood, thin little balsa wood or whatever, the staples spring out and the whole trap just explodes. And he's not cheap. The Chino Bazaar up the road here is not cheap. He's charging kind of top quality prices for the lowest quality goods. And he's always busy. Shop's always full. But no, these ones that Adam and Mel have got me are absolutely fantastic. They're so sturdy and so lethal. We haven't had a false trigger yet. When they go off, there's a dead mouse caught by the neck. Like crunch, dead. No messing. Probably going to get myself banned on YouTube here, aren't I? But they are. There's no. It dips its head in, eats the bait, and walks away before it snaps. It snaps and they're dead. And if I could reach this one over here, I would pick it up and get it for. In fact, now that Tina's not here, maybe I can. Just now the dog's on the bed. Just bear with me. It's a teddy bear, but bear with me. Can I reach you, bugger? I'm going to do it the other way, actually. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out fully if I can. Go that way. I don't want to knock this over. It's not that I'm bothered about you guys, it's my can of beer. Can I reach these buggers? Oh, I'll get this one. This one's even easier to reach from you. Here we go. Watch this beastie. I won't pull everything back in. But here, folks, here's the trap. And read this label if you can. Oh, it's reversed. because camera says caution your hands. This thing is lethal. You do not put your fingers in here to change the bait. There's the bait. That's a burger relish. You take the bait out. The bait's in a pot that you introduce underneath. Keep your fingers well away from the damn thing, because if that goes off in your fingers there, I mean, look at the shape of it. You see the undulations, the almost prongs. We've had no false triggering of this, and every time it goes off, there's a mouse in its jaws. The only thing, if I could quibble, is that once it's set, so you put it down on the floor, and then you press this thing here at the back, and it lifts up and it locks. There's no unlocking it, there's no unsetting it, there's no releasing it, except to trigger it. Now you could probably, a pencil or something, trigger it and keep your thumb on and lower it down more slowly. But I never have done. I wouldn't dream of, I'm not going anywhere near this thing. It's, once it's set, it's a death trap. No false positives. It hasn't gone off when there hasn't been a dead mouse in it. Fantastic. And I got 4 of them. Thank you guys. Thank you. That first night, 6, count them, 6 dead in one night. 6 dead mice in one night, folks. Nothing the night after. 2 on the 3rd night, and 1 not the next night but the morning after. Absolutely phenomenal they are. So yeah, but going back to the week in question that we're actually meant to be talking about here, I'm about to run out of beer in that can. Excuse me folks, look at this, 2.5 hours and I'm opening a second can. We're on, are we on Friday yet, or are we still on Thursday night? Fuck. I'll find my spot in a moment, just give us a second. Tina, no. Tina, no thank you. Just let me put my little blanket back on my legs. A little cool. There's something weird going on, folks. I've gone all winter in shorts. And just this week, a couple of times, I've been a bit cold. Now, I don't know if it's just me. Am I not eating right, or am I not eating the right things? Am I not eating enough? Or is it I mean, the weather's been distinctly cooler. Tina girl, let's have some quiet. Gonna try and find my place on the page here before this book falls apart. So we brought the baked beans. We did that, didn't we? He's got no cooking facilities. Plagued by mice all night. So this is Thursday night into Friday. That's where we're at. That's where I went off on one about mice in general and mouse traps. I found myself, folks. Quick look at chat, see whether I've missed anybody. Put a carrot in. You don't want to see the carrots that I've got lying around here. Eat the beans, he'll get the message. Oh, Karen, there we go. Karen doesn't have a laptop. No. You've done enough, Karen. You've done more than enough for me. Lifting, yeah, it has to be said, the supporting Tina, basically carrying the back half of Tina, whether it's with the left arm or the right, I am feeling it in my back. And yeah, I mean, in part, that's why the back, I've never once in my life had a bad back. I walked back in a bathroom, I'd come out of the shower, I walked backwards and caught the door handle on my back. The merest touch, it wasn't like I fell into it or anything, I just walked backwards, stepped, and it touched my back. And it just got me just so. And for about a week I was in agony. But that's right back the first year or so that I was in Spain. I was living on Avenida de la Mancha, Royal Interpark Dos. Yeah, Royal Interpark Dos. That's going back a while. 8 or 9 years, depending on when it was in the year. But after a week, it was just a case of take a few painkillers, probably ibuprofen to reduce swelling, if I remember right. And after a week, it was like it never happened. And then I twisted my back one day here dancing around Tina, and months later, I'm still struggling with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can lift heavy things and move them around. I just feel it afterwards. I just have a stiffness, a dull ache in the bottom of my back, and off slightly to the left, bottom and left. But yeah, the fact that I'm carrying Tina around is Zami or Zami. Thank you. I appreciate the best wishes. You were homeless in London. Things always get better. I'll be honest. I'm so lucky to have the support of. Look, yeah. Is it look? It is. I'm lucky to have you guys. But I put myself out there, didn't I? I did the YouTube thing. I did. Some would say the e-begging, and I've struggled with this all along. The tightrope walk between. So I'm documenting my. Can we say my struggle without getting in trouble? Maybe not. I'm documenting my life. I should stop with the my struggle jokes. I'll be getting called a Nazi again. I keep telling myself this same joke, and I always make myself laugh with it. Some people don't get it, and that's okay. I'm not going to explain it again. Mein Kampf in German, isn't it? So here I am documenting my struggle, my difficulties. And when I say, oh, the tent's falling apart and the bed's wet and this, and then people donate. And I have actually outright asked at times as well, especially once we got close. So I'm that e-begging, that tightrope walk. Here I am explaining my situation. I've put myself out there saying this is what's wrong, and people turn up and they bring food and they bring supplies. And a lady the other day brought me another tarpaulin. San, thank you. If you're out there, probably not. You probably don't know that this exists. She was just walking past, saw the state of the tent, and came by with a tarp that she had that she wasn't using. But yeah, that tightrope of am I begging? See, I've refused to actually go begging, apart from the one time when someone talked me into it and I felt pressured into doing it. So I did try it the once, but the e-begging thing, I don't know. I struggle with that. I do struggle with that. But how can I document what I'm going through without it looking like I'm... If you say I've got a difficulty and this is wrong, and this is what I need, and then someone turns up with it, yeah. I struggle with this one myself, folks. I almost as much as the taking a life stuff that I struggled with last year. This year they got me at a breaking point, and I just, for the first week, I celebrated every fucking death. Every mouse carcass that I carried out there and you know, emptied the trap, I was happy. Now I'm kind of reverting a little bit. I prefer they just weren't here. They could run around the field all they want, just don't come in here, and we could coexist. It doesn't work that way though, does it? It doesn't work that way. So I've got these struggles, these mental aberrations. I don't know. Let's go back. There are other comments that I'm missing. I'm going to go with Zami like Sammy. But thank you for the well wishes. what am I? There are you guys are talking amongst yourself. What's for me and what's just you talking amongst yourself? Okay. Back. Okay, I'm back to territory that I recognise. I have read these already. Antisocial networks, yeah, okay. Where the experiments as Thomas. The whole Greenland thing with yeah, Stephanie and America and Musk and everything. Stephanie's never been banned on. No, you see, I've done it again. I read something from Stephanie, then I've scrolled, and it's Adam and Mel. That was the caused uproar with DIY enthusiasts. There's Karen telling me what my first video was. So I'd already skipped stuff, folks. I'd already missed stuff earlier. Let me try and catch up quick. Oh, okay. This is where Adam caused uproar. Somebody asked a question in the DIY forum about how can you bury your trampoline so it's at ground level. And Adam responded that you're digging a ditch for yourself there, mate. Okay. This is a serious channel. We don't want your flippant stuff here. Thomas answered my question about the Finland, Sweden, NATO stuff. Okay. Thank you, Thomas. No popular vote. What, the government just went ahead and did it? They just decided it was in your best interest. We're going to tell you what you need. There's Zami. I've just answered that one. Karen. Eat the beans, you'll get the message. I mean, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. I put a carrot in the trap and show the power, but I think the remnants of carrots I've got left are not in the best of shape. I wouldn't want to point a camera at them. You probably wouldn't need a camera to, you wouldn't need a mouse trap to break them either. Probably just me picking them up. I'm sure Thomas, yeah, okay, Thomas is taking me up on the Mein Kampf, my struggle kind of thing, yeah. I'm sure if Paul Merton, a comedian in Britain, did it, he released a book called My Struggle, which is a direct translation of Mein Kampf. So yeah, it's, I mean, My Struggle is a fairly obvious name for an autobiography, really, isn't it? My Life or My Struggle. I've been a bit camp. Up the what I still haven't. I downloaded all of the Up Pompeii and Up the Front and all those Frankie Howard films. Still haven't watched them. I'm going to get to that one day. They're taking up space on my phone. If I watch them, I can delete them and free up a gigabyte or two. But they're just sitting there. Hide and Squeak, Kamausa's favourite game, says Adam. Or Mel, probably Adam, but. Don't ban me, says Stephanie. I'm not radical. I just want to stay a sovereign country. That's every country's right to be sovereign country. Except Scotland. You're not allowed. Whoops. I guess we could put Wales in the same. I'm going to shut up now, folks. I'm going to go back to my notes. We're going to pick up where we left off. I think, were we about to start Friday? We just finished Thursday and I went off on one about the mice and mouse traps and etc. etc. So Friday morning on the week ending Sunday, March the 30th. So we're somewhere around the 27th or 28th, whatever that would be for Friday. Tina, early morning dog walk, except she does nothing. You ever had this? Dog pesters you, wants to go out. And when you get there, nothing. And sometimes with Tina, when I say early morning, I mean like fucking 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. This wasn't quite that bad. This was probably 7:30, something like that. But it's a nice day. The sun is clearly going to be a nice day, clear skies and what have you. put the EcoFlow out, and no, I don't put the EcoFlow out. I put the solar panel out, and Dada Chosky missed the pun. What, the Mein Kampf, my struggle thing? Okay, if that's where we're going. Yeah, my struggle, Hitler's manifesto, I guess. Yeah. Early walk does nothing. EcoFlow and solar panels deployed very quickly on our way and full charge. Nice day. The video that I'd released Wednesday and that had stalled, and then I camp. Camp. Okay. Camp that way as well. There's camp and camp. Yeah. I'm not explaining it. I'm putting my foot in it in so many ways already. Okay, Rich has got a female dog, Marge. Okay, mine's Tina. No, okay. Stephanie says that Mein Kampf isn't banned in the USA. They don't ban books. No, okay. In Britain, technically, not banned. Except some kid had a collection of books of a range of political persuasions. He had them all. He had the little red book from Mao Zedong. He had Mein Kampf. He basically had them all, and he got in trouble with the police over something. And they searched his home, discovered all of these radical books, and he got sent to jail. He got not for the original crime that he was in trouble with that they got the search warrant for. Once they got the search warrant for one thing, but then found all these other books, he got done for possession of knowledge. I found that very, very disturbing. The possession of knowledge should never be a crime. If you're a physicist and you have books telling you how to build a nuclear bomb or an atom bomb or whatever, you're a physicist. Bombs are just the fast release of energy, which is basically the heart of physics is the study of energy. It's what everything is from the Big Bang onwards. So whilst every book he had was legal to have, the judge summarized the case as, on the preponderance, his instructions, I'm not sure if it was just the judge making the decision or if he gave instructions to the jury. But it boiled down to the possessions of these books was so suspicious that we should lock this kid up. We've lost our way. The UK has gone so far off the rails, and it all started with hate speech and hate crime. If I punch you on the nose, and it's not warranted, you're not about to knife me or shoot me or something. If I punch you on the nose out of the blue, that's a crime. If you're black or Indian or Pakistani and I punch you on the nose, it's not a different crime. It's the same fucking crime. I've punched you on the nose. If I punch you on the nose and say, you Irish bastard, fuck off back to Paddyland, those are naughty words, but we don't arrest people for naughty words. If I punch a Pakistani bloke on the nose and call him that 4-letter word that's at the beginning of Pakistan, it's no bigger a crime than just punching him on the nose. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are. The punch on the nose is the crime. And we started policing language. And from there, the slippery slope was activated and has been slippery sloping ever since. Did you see that one today? I saw it today. It might be older. An Englishman is being spoken to by somebody and he's not quite grasping what they're saying. And he asks them to speak clearly. I'm sorry, I'm not quite getting it. Try again. And can you maybe try and speak more clearly? The person he's talking to or talking with goes to a policeman and says, "That's racist. That's a hate crime. That man asked me, he demanded I speak English." And the policeman walks over and says, "If you said this, that might be a hate crime. And we might have to investigate. Take your details, take your name." Fuck off. Asking someone you're speaking to repeat what they're saying because you didn't quite get it, and maybe speak more clearly, maybe use smaller words. You do that all the time. I've done that with Geordies, Scousers, Irish people. They say something and I don't quite catch it, and I'm like, "Try again." And they say it a second time and I still don't get it, and I'm like, "Mate, we're gonna have to, maybe more slowly or more clearly, or maybe try using different words, smaller words, mate." That's not racism. The fuck are you talking about? But it starts with policing language, and from there it builds. And it's building. We're seeing it in the UK at the minute. Suddenly you've got protected groups. You can't say this about this group or that about that group. You can't say this about this religious figure. The teacher that was explaining to children in a religious education class what the controversy was about saying something about Muhammad or drawing a cartoon. He wasn't being malicious. He was explaining why there was a problem and where the diversion was between Western society and Eastern. We value free speech ahead of everything else. They value religion ahead of everything else. And where the two clash, we choose free speech, they choose religion. And if you're on the wrong side, they start beheading you. Whatever, I don't know. But for explaining that, he ends up sacked and in hiding because people are chasing him, and he's still in hiding now. Because there's a fatwa or whatever you want to call it after him, on his name, on his head. The Hitler pug thing, that guy is called Count Dankula, pun on Dracula. Yeah, Count Dankula, I follow him. Yeah, he's a comedian. And he does documentaries as well on YouTube, but with a comedic edge. Yeah, it's but the kid that got locked up for 6 or 7 years for possessing a range of books, and each and every one of them was legal. I don't know how we get there. Now, how much of it was whatever the initial crime was that the police were investigating? But that's not what the talking points were in the judge's summation, in the info that came out afterwards. It was all about the books. He was from Scotland, Count Dankula, yeah. Yeah, if you get a region where people have a strong accent, it's entirely possible that you can say to them, "Sorry, mate, didn't catch that." And they say it a second time, you still don't catch it. What are you going to say? You can either nod and smile and pretend, and just miss the conversation entirely. Or you can say, "I'm very sorry, mate. I know you've tried twice. I didn't get it. Can you maybe say it again more clearly?" It's a perfectly normal thing to say. Now, some people might take offense, but how does taking offense become criminal? You take offense, I take a gate post, somebody else takes the gate. Maybe we can build a garden wall. I don't fucking know. It's... You're a northerner. You know what I mean? You're from the north. Of course they can't understand you. Stop talking to southerners. Quick swig, folks, and we must crack on. We're coming up on 3 hours. You can tell I've got the bug. I am in a talking mood. After I've put everything away later, I'll go off and try and find a few talking points, and we'll have a TrampCast hangout, 10:30, 11 o'clock, something like that tonight. If anybody's interested, and if you're free, don't worry if you're not. And we'll try and avoid the conspiracy theory stuff, because that went off That went off a little bit sideways last week. It was all right, most of it. A little bit weird in the end, and we'll try not to cover that same ground again too much. Okay, where did we get to? I was talking about the video that I'd released on the Wednesday that when it stopped, I'd complained about it. And then it started up again. And it carried on all through Thursday. It was doing well. And into Friday, and it's still doing well. We're up to 700 views, which is off the scale for 2 days into a video of mine. To be on 700 is crazy. Shorts sometimes catch and you can get 1,000 or so. But an actual uploaded video that's 5 or 10 minutes or whatever, I don't normally get 700. What's that? I can't even read my own writing here. Oh, okay, I got it. So the shopping that Karen had brought me the day before or the day before that? I think it was the day before, although I can't find. Yeah, there it is. It was the day before. So the shopping bags that Karen had brought the day before, the mice had been in. Now everything's in. It's jars, it's bottles, it's cans, it's food in cellophane wrappers. It's all protected. Don't worry about what I'm about to say. But there's mouse droppings in the bottom of the carrier bag. That's all it takes, folks. Someone brings you something and you haven't got storage space for it right there and then. You need a day to move stuff, find that thing to eat, or to throw it, or that rotting something or other that needs throwing away. And then just overnight, the bag gets infiltrated by the little bastards, by the little rodents. I am still on screen. You're a little bit further away than you were, though, aren't you? We're all right, though. We're all right. How's the sound today? Have we got lots of popping? And I watched some of these back, and the amount of crackling that's going on in the background is intolerable. I think especially when I've got it plugged into the power. There's something leaks from the cable that you get crackles and pops, but I don't know about right now. No one's mentioned sound being an issue. Obviously, there's no wind coming in today because we're not outside. But sometimes it's just very crackly anyway. You guys discussing where you live? All the northerners. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the mice have been into the food that was bought the day before, but everything's good. We're all good. But yeah, it is annoying as hell. In comes Pepe. Well, she's 3 or 4 days on the trot now, isn't it? In comes Pepe. Power for the phone. But he just bring me a can of cold beer, so you know. He offers me a cheese and anchovy sandwich. That's not a combination I would automatically put together. I know anchovies don't really taste fishy. They're more meaty and salty, but a baguette with anchovy and cheese, no thanks. Tina enjoyed it though. He kept feeding her bits. I think the film was Rita, Sue and Bob too. Sorry folks. Here we go. What does that say? Cheese and anchovy and... Oh, look at this. It's got water on it. I can't quite read that. Yeah, anyway, I decline his food. I've already eaten. But this video that's doing really well at this point, more and more, hundreds and hundreds of people seeing it. And the good thing about when a video is doing well like that is that a lot of them are new people. A lot of my videos go out and YouTube only shows them to you guys that are already subscribed or that have already watched a ton of my videos. But when you get one that goes out to a lot of people, you get a lot of new viewers. And because I discussed how this bad weather has ended, and I give a link to the playlist covering all the 3 weeks of bad weather, I get a lot of new subscribers, and I'm up 1,270 at this point. It's looking good. It's charging forward. Yeah, doing well. So this day, this Saturday, where he's here, he's offering me the. Oh no, that was the end of Friday, wasn't it? Okay, into Saturday. I get that. I got lost. Into Saturday morning. You can tell, sunny and hot. The EcoFlow gets to 100% stupid early, and yeah. And you got to remember, we're still before the clocks go. This is Saturday, so the sun was coming up and being active like before 8 o'clock. I was already trapping energy and getting charged. So we were hitting, some of these days we were hitting 100% on the EcoFlow by like 9 o'clock, at 9:30, fully charged for the you know. And then there's all this sun going to waste. You get a long sunny day, you've already got 100%. Everything you're hitting the solar panels just sitting there, not getting stored. It's just getting wasted. Yeah. So all day long, I'm drinking coffees and making soups because I've got lots of soups. Thank you, Karen, and a few other people as well. I can't remember the specifics for the week we're at, but I've had a good supply of packet soups and cup of soups recently. Sorry, distracted by chat. You're talking amongst yourselves, and I'm looking in case it's for me. That's all right. But I am doing that thing now, dipping down off screen. Let's. I don't think we'd be going this long, folks. It's going to go dark if we don't draw this to a close soon. We're on to Saturday, aren't we? We're in Saturday. Sun going to waste. I'm drinking soups. My mate Tom comes round a little bit later on. Brings me Tupperware. It's an ice cream tub, but we call it Tupperware. He brings me a prawn. What do you call it? It's like a prawn stew, but I think it was tomato. It's like a prawn bolognese. And a beer. And we sit and we chat for, I don't know, an hour and a half. And this was where we got introduced to the German couple, who I later came to know as Mara and Thomas. Me and Tom were sat there. I was eating and drinking. He was drinking. We were chatting, and they walked past, and they said, "Oh, do you live here?" Just started chatting, and she said, "Oh, I'll bring some dog food in a few days. We're going home soon. I'll bring some dog food." Oh yeah, okay, thank you, and that was that. We had a quick chat, introductions, but off they went. So this will matter later, maybe next week, in the story. But yeah, that was a lovely offer, and so this is Saturday night. After that, it's pretty much of a muchness, a usual empty day after Tom leaves. I watch. Apologies to Big Clive and Scruff Dog saying it's an empty day. I do my YouTube thing. I watch BigClive.com over on Twitch. It's all words. Well, it's all one word. Big Clive, DOTCOM. My electronics genius that I watch, and then Scruff Dog, which is he's a technical guy, a forklift truck, and all the machinery's in a warehouse. All the machinery, all the forklift and order picking trucks and very narrow aisle trucks, all of that stuff. He's a mechanical engineer on those things. And it's just a general hangout with technical people. So I did that. That was my Saturday night, folks. That was my Saturday night. And as I said, this is the night the clocks go forward. So we did all that. It's automatic on the devices. The watch needed manual adjustment. Did all that. And then mice for the rest of the night. Not too many this time, but enough to be annoying at 3 and 4 in the morning. Enough to be annoying. I've written here, lifted sides of tent, and I don't know why. Lifted sides of tents. Lifted sides of tent. Oh, I know. I got it. That end of the tent where the wall's missing, but there's the bottom skirt, but it flops down. And I got the idea the mice were coming in at that end. And so what I did, I lifted that up. So I was 6 inch high, and I hooked it onto a bucket, and I put wood on there to give that side a proper skirt, a proper threshold, you might say, around the edge of the tent, so they couldn't just walk in and walk out. If they're in, they're trapped in, and if they're out, they're stuck out. They haven't got an easy walk in. That's what I meant by lifted the sides of the tent. Okay, I understand myself now. I got it. Okay, so that's my Saturday night and into Sunday morning. 4 a.m. dog walk. 4 o'clock. Not happy. But we do what we do. And then we come back in. 8 o'clock in the morning, when I would normally been putting the solar panel out, it's dark. Because we put the clock forward. The time that we used to call 7 o'clock when it would have been dark, we're now calling 8 o'clock. It's going to take some adjustment. Yeah. So it's weird not putting the solar panel out as early. It's suddenly, with no rush to put the panel out, it doesn't need to go out while 9 or just after. 9:30 even. But instead of 8 or 8:30. But it's just a weird feeling because we put the clocks forward that night, the Saturday into Sunday. Yeah, I've got my notes here. Yesterday we would have called that 7 o'clock. Today we're calling it 8 o'clock and wondering why it's not getting light. Everything will feel off for the next week or two. Just about got used to it now, but it's still there, isn't it? It's still there. But at least it stays light later. It's now way after 9 it gets dark. 9 I think is like the start of dusk, and 9:30 something like that where proper dark. Somewhere around there. But yeah, everything will feel off for the next week or two, yeah. But when the sun does come up, it's a lovely morning. The EcoFlow is getting charged, fully charged by 11, which again feels stupid late. But really, that would have been 10 o'clock yesterday. But fully charged by 10 is fine. That's great. No problem at all. Just feels off again. And as usual on a Sunday, 12 o'clock. That's up to 12 o'clock. I can watch videos. The day's my own. 12 o'clock onwards, prepare your notes for TrampCast. So on this particular day, I was preparing the notes for TrampCast 60. Created the stream on YouTube. And then the worst part, yeah, writing up the notes. And here Pepe comes along and brings back the radio. And yeah, now he's got his phone fixed. He doesn't need my crappy radio. And that's us, folks. That's us. All the preparation and getting ready for TrampCast, and then obviously doing the TrampCast. We are complete. 3 hours and 5 minutes minus 5 seconds into the thing. 3 hours and 5 minutes now. Sorry about that. I got sidetracked a few times, didn't I? I got sidetracked a few times. Let's see what I'm missing on chat. I know that the Northerners are talking amongst themselves about Rita Sue and Bob 2. That's the name of the film. I got a feeling it was either very late 80s or early 90s. That particular film. Oh no, that's the name of a film. Rita, Sue and Bob 2. Dadachuski. You probably gathered that by now. I'm working backwards, mate. I'm working backwards. Oops. Yeah, there's the Northerners. John Aldwinkle, I think that's the first I've seen of you. Have you been lurking or have you just arrived? Maybe if I keep going backwards, I'll see you arriving. I don't think so. I think I'm on familiar territory. You've stepped out of lurker mode, is what I'm thinking. Okay, folks. We got any questions, comments? Probably under copyright. You never know. You might find it on Netflix or something like that. I tend to get all of my viewing from other resources. What's the app called that I use? I use Flood for the actual downloading, FLUD, but you need something else to search for the torrents first. And right now I can't remember the name. But yeah, you know, I grab what I can where I can, depending on my disk space on the device. I was a Netflix subscriber from very early on, and when I moved to Spain, I carried on with Netflix, I think until I was made homeless, or maybe just before. I might not have had the money for the monthly fee. But that was about the time they started getting funny about other people using your password. I'd created 3 or 4 accounts, and some friends and family had access, and they started bitching about how come when I'm in Spain, someone in England's accessing. Hey, if you make it difficult for people to get hold of the stuff legitimately, if you put obstacles in the way, there's a guy online called Lewis Rossman, S-N at the end. Lewis, I'm not sure if it's got an O in or not. I think it's just L-U-I-S, but I could be wrong on that. He's quite outspoken on the issue. He paid Netflix for 8K access to content that's available in 8K. He paid the fee for the year. And then what happened was, it turns out you could only use the 8K if your computer had a certain type of graphics card. They never mentioned that when they were taking his fucking money. Never mentioned that. They took his money. Then when he tried to use it, they said, oh, no, not you. You haven't got the right computer for this shit. He's like, why didn't you ask me that before taking my money? And he said, well, they ask for it. They push people towards piracy. If you make it difficult for people to get the stuff legitimately, if you start bitching about what country they're in, or whether their wife or girlfriend can access the same thing while you're in a different part of the country, or while you're in a different country, you start doing shit like that, people just find alternate means. And they do. For anyone who wants to know what app I use for searching torrents, email me. I'll happily tell you. I just can't look it up from here because the stream will end. Now, the stream is going to end shortly, folks. We maybe end in 6 minutes. We'll do it of 3 hours, 15 minutes if there's enough topic to keep me prattling on. He is in Texas now. He was in New York for the longest time, Lewis Rossman. And there's another one. New York City. The guy's had a business in New York for, I don't know, 15 or 20 years, whatever it was. And apparently when he started his business, they say they failed to take his business license money. Now, I'm from the UK. You don't need a license to start a business. Americans laugh at the UK because we have TV licenses, and you have to have a license to have a television, or at least to use a television in its normal function. You can buy one and connect it to a computer and not have a license, but as soon as you start looking at BBC, ITV, whatever, you need a license. Americans laugh at us and tell us how preposterous this is, but they need a license to be a hairdresser and to start a business and certificates to prove that you can be an estate agent or a realtor, as they would call it. They're more heavily licensed and policed in these things than we are. Every time they talk about a builder doing a bit of work on a house, it has to be up to code and inspected and validated and signed off. We don't have any of that shit. But they talk about us because we have a telly license. We used to have radio licenses, folks, and dog licenses. But you want to start an estate agency or a hairdresser's, just go for it. No license involved. Now, ideally, you'll get your city and guilds or some such qualification in your industry to hang on the wall. That would be an ideal. There's no actual fucking requirement. You want to start a business, start a business. If you cut hair badly, the clients will stop coming and you won't have a business much longer. Why do you need a license? Why do you need to pay a government? I'm off, folks. I'm off on one. I could go on forever, and I frequently do. I just find it funny that when the Americans find out that we have a TV license, they go up the wall about it. They can't even cross the fucking road without being policed about where you do it. What the hell is jaywalking? You can only cross at the intersection and only where it's marked. And if it's an unmarked intersection, you have to cross directly at 90 degrees, but only on a Wednesday when the sun's not shining. And if you spin around 3 times, roll up your left trouser leg and rub your right buttock. The fuck? We trust people to be able to kind of look and assess whether there's traffic coming or not. And if there's no traffic coming, go for it. If you go for it and get it wrong and a car comes along, it's probably your fault. And if you dawdle and walk along in a diagonal or walk up the middle of the road, it's probably your fault. But criminal? Not so much. Except motorways, because 70 miles an hour. But anywhere else, you're free to do what you want. We're the ones that are over-policed because we need a license for TV. And the license isn't even by the government. Here's the thing most people, including Brits, misunderstand. The monarch prescribed the fact that we have to have this license. But it's publicly, the money is collected and sent straight to the BBC. Technically, it doesn't go into the government's coffers. It is not government money. Now, the government have the job of policing it because it's a law. And the government and laws and police and things are a whole thing. There are public consultations and there's a separate governors of the BBC set up and decide what the fee should be, whether it's going up or not, and how it should be spent. It's got almost nothing to do with the government. Except enforcement because laws and courts and things. That's one of the arguments that people had with Elon a little while back, just to go back to Stephanie's dislike of Elon. The same's going to happen in the UK, Thomas. They're talking about scrapping the license fee, but it will just be subsumed into a different tax, and everyone will end up paying this tax, regardless of whether you use it or not. It's on the cards. It might take another 4 or 5 years. It might take 10, but it's headed that way. No, once they turn it into a tax, there's no escaping it. You're paying for it by the back door anyway. But yeah, it kind of says walk this way. Yeah. I just find it funny when the Americans, they hear about TV license and go, oh my God, grab your guns, Second Amendment, let's go shoot up the government and tell them what's what. And it's, I got off on this because we were talking about Louis Rossmann being in Texas. Used to be in New York, had to have his business license. When he left New York, he made sure he was up to date with every tax and every license and every fee. Now, he'd paid his business license, but they'd not sent him the paperwork. He moves to Texas and announces his new address and what have you, starts getting chased by people saying that he owes $30,000 from 13 years ago when he first set up his business. And he's like, what? Yeah, when he set up his business and he gave them the address, they sent all the documentation about some business license or other to an entirely different state that he's never even visited. They just somehow plucked an address out their backside and started sending bills, started sending demands to an address the other side of the country that he's never been to. And now that he moves, they start saying, oh, we want a lien against your house. We want to put a charge, a fee against your property because you owe this money. And he says, no, I fucking don't. And they say, yeah, for this year, you never paid your bills. You never paid your business license. And he says, here's my business license. Here's my here. Now tell me what's what. Of course, it takes him 3 months to get hold of somebody to talk to without getting cut off on the phone, because in New York, it's funny. Some countries that have really strong bureaucracy are really good at it. I'll offer up the Germans as an example, and probably some of the Scandinavian countries. Really keen on their bureaucracy, but they're really efficient with it and no mistakes and no messing about. Other places are really keen on their bureaucracy, not democracy, bureaucracy, but are really bad at it. And I will offer up examples such as Spain. My ex-friend Christian used to get a benefit, and every month when he got the benefit, it would be for a different amount, and sometimes there'd be like 50 or 70 euros missing from this benefit. And it wasn't a big benefit, it was only a couple of hundred, and to have 60 or 70 missing. And he'd ask them, what, where, when, what, why is the difference? Oh, we don't know. But you've deducted it. It's supposed to be this. I've got paperwork telling me that for the next 2 years I'm going to get this amount, this amount, this amount each month. I'm going to get this. I've got paperwork from you telling me I get this amount. And now it's 60 or 70 euros less. Why? We don't know. Of course you fucking do. You're the ones taking it. If you can't justify why I'm not getting that money, then I want that money. End of. I kept telling him, go to the police. Someone's on the fiddle in that office. I will put money on it. Somebody in that office is on the fiddle, typing in random deductions at random points against random people and just fobbing them off when they come through the door. I put money on it. You can't. But my point about bureaucracy, not just that they didn't know and couldn't tell him, in order to get this benefit, he had to go and get various bits of paper from various officers. And at the end of this process, he'd have to go, they'd print it off and give it a red stamp. And if it didn't have the red stamp and he didn't realise and walked away, he'd have to go back another day taking the same bit of paper and they'd have to stamp it. And they'd refuse to stamp it because they don't recognise it. That date's not today and that's an unstamped bit of paper. So they'd print a new one off with that day's date and then they'd stamp it to say it was stamped on that day. But they might make him go around the corner and get a photocopy of some other document and come back. They've got photocopiers and printers. They've got everything there. But no, you have to go off and get a photocopy from somewhere and then come back. And he'd have to make half a dozen of these journeys. And if you don't get all 5 bits of paperwork within, let's say, 10 days, if you take all those bits of paperwork to the final office and you're a day late and the first one's out of date, start again. Fucking start again. And at the end of it, they take this bundle of paperwork and they scan it in and they email it to somebody. But that's not good enough. They then hand you a bundle of these originals and tomorrow you've got to go and take them to some other office. What the fuck? Really, really keen on bureaucracy, but really, really fucking bad at it. In this day and age, you will spend 3 weeks shuffling bits of paper between one office and another. And if you're a day late, start again. And this is because it's keeping these people in work. If you walk in an office and ask what paperwork do I need, and instead of giving you a printed checklist for you to walk away with of the 5 documents you need, if they just write them down for you. I've told this story before. My mate Ismail and Christian had to get something. So same thing. You walk into the National Police office, station, whatever you're going to call it, and ask what documents do I need for my NIE number, and they'll write down a list of 5 things. It's not a pre-printed list, so there's no mistake that they give you and that you know what you get. They'll write down a list of 5 things. When you take those 5 things and a piece of paper, they'll say, no, item number 3 and 5, you don't need those, you need these instead. And they'll send you away. And it'll take you 2 or 3 days to get those different bits of paper, and you're going to come back with those and hope they don't just carry on with the runaround time and time again. Love their bureaucracy, really bad at it, and it's job protection. They get to have 20 appointments with you at various different offices instead of doing it all in one day with 3 visits. Some places are just really bad at bureaucracy. And from the sounds of it, New York, from what Louis Rossman said, New York's a hellhole when it comes to that stuff. And when you hear the types of, the rent he paid for his office, he was repairing iPhones was what it started off as. And then it became MacBooks and iPads and things. Not iPads, iMacs and other Macintosh, whatever. He was paying tens of thousands per month in rent for a tiny office where he had like 8 people sat shoulder to shoulder. Like, they got cubicles, but they're squashed into their cubicles. Tiny little shop, a workspace with a shop front. Tiny thing. Tens of thousands per month. And the service that he didn't get from the local government was horrendous. Interesting, very interesting man to watch his videos. I started watching when he was actually doing board repairs, taking the motherboard out of computers, taking them apart, soldering and desoldering and all replacing chips and all of that, and bitching about Apple as being a bad company. I was hooked then, but then he'd have these other rants about this or that or the other, often while doing the repairs. But then he just started discussing business topics and discussing the right to repair. That's a big topic that he's got. About how you buy something and the company tell you you're not allowed to repair it, or you're not allowed to take it somewhere and have it repaired. Fuck, it's mine, I've bought it. I could put it on the floor and piss on it if I want. You don't get to tell me what I can and can't do with it. The fuck are you doing? And he goes off on rants just like I just did, except his are like long. Okay, folks, I was going to end at 3 hours 15, wasn't I? If there's people still out there, it looks like there's a few of you. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't, folks. Otherwise, I'll rant some more. Thomas says sometimes mistakes are a feature. Yeah, it's not a mistake. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's like how devices are built to fall apart after a certain set of time. What do they call it? Deliberate obsolescence. Deliberate doesn't sound like the right word. Planned obsolescence. when it comes to devices, but systems like the Spanish bureaucracy. There's a whole industry. A lot of you might not be in Spain or whatever. A lot of you will be because Torrevieja Tramp, down and out in Torrevieja. But for anyone who's not, who's just watching because they got interested one day in something somebody said, where was I going with that? Keeps people in jobs. I had a whole track I was about to go down. Let me have a beer and see if it comes back. And now I'm stressing myself, trying to remember, and I won't be able to remember because I'm stressed. Planned obsolescence, devices. Oh, there's a whole avenue, a whole area, and I won't be able to remember the word. So your abogado in Spain, abogado is your lawyer. But there are these two other classes of things that we don't even have in Britain. Another one they'll give you the runaround and send you backwards and forwards to is a notary public, a notary. We have them in Britain, but they're actually lawyers. And the notary stuff, which is just signing documents as a true copy of something, or when I set up my business, I did the paperwork myself for forming a limited company. And you had to get the various bits of documents together, basically the rules of the company, the bylaws, the Americans would call them. We have words for them in English that I can't remember. There's 2 sets of documents you got to have, and a share certificate type thing. You do various things. You get them together, and then you have to go and get them copied by a lawyer, and have the lawyer stamp things as a true copy, and you pay them like just a 15 quid fee. Basically just for witnessing something. You're just paying them, they're just a paid witness to verify that what you said is true and that the various documents are attached and are in the pack, ready to go to company's house. So the lawyer is the notary public. Other people can be headmasters, and certain qualified individuals, doctors and things, can act in that capacity as well. But there's a standard fee set in law. In Spain, this is just a separate job on its own, being a notary. And before you do certain things, you have to run around and get all the things. Now, a lot of people, you're buying a house in a foreign country, you don't want to be bothered with all that. You can pay somebody else just to take care of all that running around. Sometimes you just pay your lawyer and pay a lot of money and get overcharged paying a lawyer to do it. But they have this whole other industry of unqualified people that just do this running around, making sure the right documents are in the right place and stamped by the right people. I can't remember the word. Maybe we'll discuss it tonight in the TrampCast Hangout if we do one. I think we're doing one. Depends whether YouTube let me do the setup properly. There's another story. This was quite painless. Actually getting in and starting the stream, uploading the fucking thumbnail, 10 attempts. And I sent out, YouTube showed me the proper thumbnail. I sent it out to Twitter. I go to Twitter to make sure that the message has got there and been published. They say, yes, it's been published. I click to view it, and I get the default, the grey box with just a picture of me in a circle in the fucking middle. 10 times I uploaded that damn thing, and it showed, it didn't show, it showed, it didn't. Now you see me, now you don't. I could rant. But if I can make a stream tonight that has the proper thumbnail, which will just black box on the word TrampCast Hangout on a diagonal. Can't remember which way. Probably that way. That way to you because it's reversed. Fuck. I don't know, folks. It's getting dark. We started 3.5 bloody hours ago. I will try and end on the 3.5 hours if there's stuff to talk about. Or I can just thank you for being here. Put your lamp on. My lamp's over there. I'm not even sure it's charged, and I'd have to shuffle stuff. We're done anyway. The week is over. The week in question. That was the week that was ending Sunday, March the 30th, 2025. This was TrampCast episode 62, and my notes are ripped and damp and still shredded to buggery. Quick troll through, see what I've missed. Put your lamp on, says Karen. I look like a Smurf. Yeah, I'm all blue, and I've got the white beard as well. At least you didn't say I look like Smurfette. That would have been worse. Sometimes mistakes are a feature. Having a meeting about a meeting, to arrange a meeting to discuss what the agenda should be. Let's arrange a meeting to discuss the agenda for whether we have a meeting about, yeah. Okay, is that where we're talking about guns, because I mentioned Americans and Second Amendment. Canada has more guns per head of population, but they behave with them and they don't you don't all run around shooting schools. Does anybody remember, like 15 or 20 years ago, it wasn't schools that got shot up, it was post office sorting centres. And it was literally called going postal, running riot with a gun and shooting all your colleagues because you think you're about to get sacked. It was called going postal. The phrase still exists, and you never hear about it anymore. When was the last time anybody shot up a post office or a postal sorting centre? Don't know. Should we bring that back? Is that can we make that like that's preferent? I would prefer that to kids in schools getting shot. Maybe. I mean, better to have neither. But if you had to choose one or the other. Okay, I think I'm back to where I saw. Yeah, licenses versus taxes. Okay, folks. Oh, I'm late. Look, I've missed the look at this. We're up to 3:31. Okay, folks. We're going to call it quits there. I cannot, for obvious reasons, do goodbye from Tina because she's in a separate room, sleeping on the bed. I think I heard her snoring before. But thank you, Jack Attack. Okay, I got a quick question for Jack Attack. You've been here all along, or are you just arriving, just as we're leaving? You're going to tell me you've been lurking all along. We are probably going to do a TrampCast later. And it is now 20:33 here. So 2 hours from now. 10:30, maybe 11. I'm not sure, folks. All along, he says, in future, you're going to have to prove it by saying hello lurking or something at the start. Just so that I know, because I'm not sure I exactly believe you. Stephanie says in Canada, the guns are mostly rifles, yeah. You have to keep them unloaded, probably in a cabinet, ammunition in a separate place, yeah. Then you're not lurking. Well, if you say hello and then don't respond for the rest of the show, I don't know. Is it a show even? Okay, folks, let's get you out of here. From Tina, who you can't see, and from me, Delta Mike. Catch you later, folks. Ouch.